with 3 hours. But, okay. So bale, kuan 50 items for 1 hour. And then brief explanation lang on most. Ato mo focus kaayo on the harder questions, namely kasagaran sa mga lisod rin naman sa assessment dapat. So let's focus there lang. Just chat if na ay ka ng problem. Sige. So let's start.
Mana ko'y final.
Sige. So number 1. Look at the following statement. Best characterizes drills and reviews. Okay, what's the answer? On na lang inyo, Mark, para di na lang ta mag-chat. You can answer.
What, Sir Ken?
Yes,
Chat
sir.
lang sila, sir. Sa chat box lang sila, sir.
Sige.
Okay, para dili kayo samok.
Okay, sige.
Sige, sir. Sige, sir.
Sige, so kindly answer. What's your answer here? Okay, so we have one answer here by Sir Marvy. Sir Marvy? Marvy. Not sure. Okay, so siguro na. Akong i-consider lang ang first 3 answers para madali ta. Sige. So for this, the correct answer is letter. Correct answer is, of course, thank you, letter A. So both are based on repetition, but review has a broader scope. Because when you say drills, it's usually about repetition lang with regards to a specific subject lang. Naam din siya explanation, but na lang kay kanukan na kay taas. Ay mo pa rin na uban ha, nga mag-PowerPoint o niya, ikuan lang, oral reading lang. So guide lang na siya nimo dapat, hala ng ikuan, explain. So drills, focus ka on one specific skill or one specific concept, balik-baliko nimo until na ay ma-reach ang mastery. However, when you say review, it pertains to a lot of things. Pwede siya mo cover og dako nga scope. So for example, if ang topic nimo for that day is PEMDAS, and then nagsige kag pa-answer og PEMDAS, you are doing drills. But if ang imong topic for the entire quarter ang imong review or imong gi-test, then you are conducting a review. So that's why we call this session, in final coaching, as a review, not a drill, because this covers most of the topics in Prof Ed. Okay, so next. If there are questions, just type if there are questions, or you can unmute your mic if not questions. So again, number 2. Which of the following general statements about teaching is true? Very easy. So in answering subjective questions, especially kanang questions na murag ang tanang options kay sakto or true, always choose the broadest answer. So pangitaad dara ang answer nga pwedeng masud ang ubang answer. Okay, we have one answer, B. One more. Okay, there. So the answer is B. A, C, and D to some extent, sakto naman sa D. Pero A and C are all true, but they fall under letter B lang. So letter B is the most general and therefore the most correct answer. Kaya ang A o C component naman sa letter B. Okay, so next. Number 3. So there ang not a component, major component. Very easy. May answer? Sige ra og marong, ay wala rin problema yung marong. Kung anong gidara? Tagang-tagaan lang dyan, kutob sa makaya. Okay, na answer of B, assessment, na answer of D, instructional activities. One more. Oh, wala pa ning angkon sa A o C. Go. Okay, very good. So nanay ni answer of letter C. The answer is letter C. Of course. Of course, the answer is letter C. Nga naman. in every lesson plan, we have the objectives, we have the activities, and sa ibuhaton na to deepen or to discuss that topic. And then of course, we assess after na adyan na siya, wala di na pwede mawa. Extracurricular activities, however, are from the word itself, extra. So depende rin na siya if naka additional time or additional resources nga pwedeng igahin with regards to that topic. That's why it's an important component, but it's not a major component. Objectives, assessment, and activities, di na mawa. Always gonna na in both teaching and in lesson planning. Next. Does not belong to the group. Okay. So, can anyone guess unsa ning acronym? It's an acronym, diba? It stands for something. What's that acronym? Can anyone guess? So this is usually used for, okay, very good. That is SMART. So the answer is boy. So SMART is clear. That's not clear, that's specific. Specific, measurable, achievable, or attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So yeah, that's the SMART model for creating objectives. Next, number 5. Difference between reflection and feedback. There is a very stark difference between the two. Any answers? May automatic na lang siyang answer. So anyway, the main difference between the two is reflection is metacognitive. It means it's something that you do on your own. Feedback, on the other hand, is external. Okay, reflection is internal. That is what you do to yourself. So if you are correcting yourself, you are reflecting. Whereas feedback has to be external. So someone else ang naghatag nimo ana nga correction. That is called feedback. That's why in a student-teacher relationship, oftentimes, ang mo feedback is ang teacher, ang mo reflect kay ang student. So that is the primary difference. And ang phrasing ng dira is reflection is metacognitive. When you say metacognitive, that just means internal. Okay. So I hope that's clear. Number 6. So bottom up, you start from the smaller ones, smaller concepts or smaller aspects, and then you go to a more general concept or aspect. Okay, very good. That is inductive. Remember lang nga deductive, from the word deduct. You start with something bigger, a larger concept, and then you deduct, magsige kag minus until maabot ka sa smaller nga units or smaller nga component na concepts. Whereas inductive is the opposite of that, balian na. So start ka sa mga gagmay, start ka sa bottom, and then maganamanam kag add up until makaabot ka sa largest nga concept or thought. Sige. Okay, thank you, Ma'am Princess. Very good. 7. Traditional beliefs. Okay, very good, Ma'am Princess. So the answer is DOG. It is Indigenous Peoples Education, or in the Department of Education, we call it the IPED. Okay, Indigenous Peoples Education. You cannot answer madrasa curriculum because madrasa curriculum is geared specifically towards Muslims. Okay, so apil na siya sa program ana sa DepEd is called Alive, Arabic learner something. Basta alive ang tawag ana nga program. Okay, and multi-grade, of course, kanang isagol nimo grade 1, grade 2, or grade 3 imong isagol. I tried handling this before, kinder o grade 5 akong gidungan. And then letter C, alternative learning system, or ALS, that is a form of non-formal education in the Philippines. So one of the oldest and one of the most famous na non-formal education, ang ALS. But if you focus on traditional practices and beliefs, wala gi-specify nga Arab or Muslim nga beliefs, then you go for IPED, Indigenous People Education. 8. PQF. Very easy to memorize. Let's see if naka-memorize mo ano. PQF stands for the Philippine Qualifications Framework. Who has yet to finish, Who has yet to finish his or her graduate studies? Okay, so the answer is actually level 6. Why? Okay, so you start with, ang kina siya, sa'yo na kayo na memorization is actually NC1 to NC4 lang. So level 1 is NC1, level 2 is NC2, level 3 is NC3, level 4 is NC4. Ang tunga nila is associate degree. Okay, or kanang diploma degree. So kanang mga tag 2-year course. Ang 6 is ang bachelor's degree. So our course is bachelor's degree. 7 is master's. 8 is PhD. In this case, nag-proceed na siya og master's, nag-proceed na siya graduate studies, but wa pa siya nahuman. So technically, napa siya sa level 6, napa siya sa college. Okay, so again, very easy to memorize. NC1 to NC4, so level 1 to level 4. Ang tunga nila, 5, is katong associate degree or kanang diploma degree lang. So kanang mga 2-year course usually. And then level 6, college, level 7, master's, level 8 is PhD. So 8 rin ako to. Okay, so NC1 to NC4, diploma, college, master's, o PhD. Kaya dire, wala pa man gi-state nga nahuman na siya siyang master. So technically, napagyapon siya sa level sa college. So level 6. Next. Urges. Asa man na dapit ang urges. Okay, very easy. So the answer is id. Okay, remember this. Wadjay board exam nga di na mong gawas ng kining tulo. Id, ego, super ego. Id is I stands for instinct. Okay, id, instinct. So kanang the urge to procreate, have sex, the urge to eat, the urge to defecate, malibang or mangihi. So apel na siya sa id. Okay, ang ego mo control ana. Ego is reason. Okay, super ego is your conscience. So again, id. I stands for instinct or impulse. Ego is rational, rationality, reason. And then, ang highest nila, super ego or above ego, meaning your conscience. Sometimes it is also referred to as the innate internal parent. Mura ko na siya parent nimo inside nga may magdiktar nimo if sakto ba nimong gibuhat or dili. So in this case, eating man and going to the toilet, etc. So those can still be attributed to the id or the instinct. Very good. 10. Quantifiable aspects. So, sagarang malibugan anino is letter A or letter B. What's the difference? Okay, very good, Ma'am Princess. The answer is growth. So the difference, sayon ra gid kayo. Growth meaning quantifiable, measurable. Example, height, weight, largeness sa a particular organ. Okay, ginakuan sa mong bones, etc. Whereas development is holistic. Okay, so we don't say if we're talking about a child's ability to an ability for or affinity for education, for learning, we don't call it cognitive growth. We call it cognitive development, or about how the child treats others, etc. Or giunsa niya pag pakihalubilo with other people. So we call it socio-emotional development. We don't say socio-emotional growth because these things are not quantifiable. Okay, so they are more holistic. Apil siya sa tanan. Basta just remember, growth gani numbers na. Okay, measurable. Development is holistic. So sa tanan na siya. Usually dili na siya quantifiable. qualitative ang description na. 11. Not a principle. Okay, so katuban, answer lang yun ha. Ayaw ra ko, wow, you can answer na dyan. Better nga marong kaysa wala i-answer. At least, if nag-answer mo dira sa chat box, kita ko nga participate. Kaya otherwise, mura na kung tala din. Mura akong istorya sa screen. O kabaw, nambasa pa mo, ana. Sige. So, this is actually dog. Okay, so human beings have a not a principle of human development. Okay, akong balikon. So letter B is a principle. Early childhood is more important than adolescence. Nga naman, ara man ma-establish ang tanan. Personality, ang imuhang kanang physical growth, etc. Ara yun magsugod sa early childhood. Letter A is also correct. Pwede siya progressive nga, padako ang bata, pwede siya mo regress, maybe because of an illness or an accident, so pwede mo regress either mentally or physically. Pwede siya nga development is the effect of learning and maturing, of course. Socio-emotional and cognitive development is tied to maturation and learning. Di ka mo develop cognitively and effectively if di ka mo learn and mature. The only principle dira nga dili, again, not ha, be careful with those things. Kaning nga mga words, kanang not, which is except, ana-ana, so be careful with that. Not a principle man. So D, human beings have a standard rate of development. Kaya wala may standard rate ang mga human beings. Lain man tatanan. So naiuban nga paspas mo develop, naiuban hinay, naiuban nga kanang 8 years old pa, kamao na ang multiplication table, ka-memorize na, naiuban parehas akong mga bata, grade 12 na, ligapon kay 12 years old na, kailangan ka ng multiplication table. So, dili wala standard rate yun. Naara tayo approximate, pero wala standard. Okay? Next, 12. Subsume. When you say subsume, falls under. Which of the following falls under the cognitive domain of development? Except, mana say qualifier, except. Asa dira ang may labot? We're talking about development, huh? Okay. So the answer is actually boy. And naman, this is an effective this is an effective distractor. Nga naman, memory, language, and imagination are all cognitive aspects. Okay? Dili pwede nga mo develop ang bata cognitively if wala ning tulo. Dili siya ka memorize, dili siya ka istorya, and dili siya ka think creatively via imagination. Ang only part diri nga wala labot sa development specifically is brain development, because when we say brain development, that just means the size of the brain. Okay? Unsa kadako ang brain. So, og bata pa gani ka, mao bitaw na usually if mga toddlers pa, mga 2 years old and below, gagmay pa kay na sila og memory, not necessarily because bugo na sila, but because gagmay kayo physically ang ilang brain. So, the brain has to prioritize ug asa unsa ra iyang store. So, at least that's the prevailing theory. Kining tulo, memory, language, and imagination, these are all cognitive skills nga kinahanglan for development. Okay, so I get po nga medyo confusing because development ang gigamit sa term, di ba? But when you say brain development, that usually just means development of the brain, the organ itself. If ningana pa nag-cognitive development, then of course, apil na siya sa answer. Yeah, brain raman. So that's just the organ. Next. Kine. So nakabantay na ang bata nga ipaak niya sa nana sa iyang mama, masakitan iyang mama. Nakabantay na siya. So asa man na siya kaha? Which aspect? Okay, very good. Yeah, okay, thank you guys. So the answer is social-emotional. Okay. So ang pasabot raan na yun is Not necessarily nga nakabantay jud siya sa kanang naipaak niya kay kanang nasakitin ng mama niya ana jud kutob. Ang main nga skill nga gitanaw dira is makaila na ang bata sa expression sa mama. Okay? So sa expression o sa reaction sa mama makaila na siya and maka-react na siya accordingly. So if makaila na ang bata nga nasakitan ang mama, ma-react siya by stopping what he or she is doing to the mother. So that is an example of a socio-emotional developmental milestone. So nanata diri sa mga developmental milestones unya. In the next few questions, we'll go around we'll go through taan ng mga milestones, pero dili lang kay nako i-in-depth ha. Kay kasagaran bi ana siya kay kuan na siya kanang memorization ra gyud na imo nang pang-memorization. So naray number of months, nya daghan na siya na ay cognitive, na ay physical, na ay social-emotional, etc. So, mga samples lang ako ipakita dere but kamo na lang gyud pag memorize lang jud mo ana ha. Yeah. Makay na siya i-explainan man. More on memorization ng developmental milestones. Kini. Realize na siya nga ang iyang dolls kay dili tao. So therefore dili makaistorya. Usually if mga toddlers and that's called in psychology, that's called animism. The phenomena nga ang bata mo attribute o kanang human nga characteristics sa inhuman nga butang. So mao na ang mga bata masigig istorya o mga stuffed toys etc. during this age period because they don't understand pa the concept of inanimate objects na ay mga objects nga dili parehas sa tao, nga dili istorya, dili ka feel, etc. So for them, most of them, almost all of the, okay, good. So the answer is cap. Physiological is different from psychological, okay? Psychological meaning head. Physiological is the body. Okay, so dili na siya pwedeng physiological. Physiological is body man. So the answer is cognitive. Okay? Na-understand na sa bata nga there is a difference between living things, specifically humans, and non-living things or inanimate objects. So again, in psychology, we call this concept as animism. 50, gross motor. So arita sa difference between gross and fine motor. Okay, very good. So the answer is riding a bike. So when you say gross motor, ang pasabot ra gyud ana is daghan nga muscle groups ang naglihok simultaneously. Okay, and in the case of riding a bike, almost all of your body kay mo lihok man dyan when you ride a bike, di ba? Ang imong muscle groups in your legs, ang imong arms, ang imong torso to maintain your balance, even imong head. Whereas holding a pencil or stitching or typing in a computer, mostly ang muscles ra dire. Okay? So if mag-type ka or mag-stitch ka or magkuan ka or mag-hold ka o pencil, dili man ka kinahanglan siguro nga kuan. Dili man siguro kinahanglan nga moapil og lihok ang imong lawas gyud tibok lawas. Okay? So ang kuan ani is riding a bike. Fine motor is dapat usara ka muscle group or at least minimal ra nga muscle groups ang molihok. Mo pertain na gani siya sa tanan, so mga ng gross motor. Okay, so this case, fine motor. Okay, very good. So the answer is head turning. Kay swimming, dancing, and playing jumping ropes, of course, mo gamit siya sa mainly your legs, your arms, your torso, everything. Whereas head turning, literally, ang imuharan dere mo mulihok. This one and muscles mo dere. So that's it, basically. Very good. Nanata sa mga developmental milestones. Sige, tarong tagan lang sa. Unless naka-memorize na mo. Kay murara man ni siya tables gyud niya mo halang pag memorization ba. Puti ni siya pero you have to memorize. Kay pag board na wala ko ni gi-memorize unya. Daghan kinang gawas ani. Mura ni siya nga topic ang wala gid ako dito unya daghan kinang gawas. Hasol man gyud siya tun-an kay daghan man gyud kay ini. Na psychological, katong ingon, physical, etc. This one is physical. So at 5 months, unsa ka dara? Okay, very good. Kabaw lagi mo. So 5 months, that is rolling over. So makaana ng bata, kanang maka-roll na ang bata. 5 months is toddler pa man kay na, no? Sige, kini. 90% of children are able to stand without any support. As experience D. Sige. But may qualifier ha, nga 90%. So dapat majority na of children na kay dili, as I said, when it comes to development, dili ta patas. Na uban nga mga tao nga paspas, na uban nga mga tao nga hinay. So may kag kanang mo na sila i-qualify. So 90% or 80% or 50% sa mga bata ang makahimo na ani. So at this case, dapat 90%, almost all na gyud nga kaya na gyud sa mga bata. So asa ka ha? Okay, so the answer is actually letter A, 12 months. At 1 year old, makabarog na sila without any support. Naiuban nga mga bata nga mas paspas ana. But ang gipangayo is 90% man. So kasagaran gyud kadaghanan sa mga bata, almost all. So dapat at 1 year. At 1 year, if dili pa gani kabarog imong bata without any support, medyo makulbaan na ka ana. Kay but pasabot, unlikely na kaayo nga kanang kuan. Unlikely na nga normal pa na siya. Sige. Kini. Hala, answer na nako. Show preference. Okay, this is for the hands. Very important na siya, actually. So, if left-handed ba ang bata or right-handed, ari na mo gawas ang preference niya. Okay, before ani nga edad, kasagaran nga mga bata, wala man ipakita kung sa ilang buhaton o sa ilang gamiton. So, at this time, at this moment, or at this age, mo show na sila og dominance. If left-handed ba din sila or right-handed or ambidextrous sila. Ambidextrous meaning both hands ilang gamiton. So again, okay, ako naman po nakita ganina, bonus na to. So the answer is boy, that is 24 months or 2 years. Okay? So at 2 years old, usually maka-show na sila og preference. And this is important kay mao ni mo precursor na to for writing. Okay? That's one of the reasons po nga nung ang minimum age sa kindergarten is 5 years old. Nga naman, aside sa at 5 years old, expected na nga mga bata kabaw na may istorya. Also, at 5 years old, enough na ang dexterity sa bata nga makakupot na og lapis. Although, at 5 years old ganin, daghan pa yung bata na kasuway nga dili magbisod pa jud gihapon. That's why sa kinder, nakahandle na ko kinder pod, kay mo gamit og katong murag jumbo nga pencils. Kay again, dili pa kayo fully formed ilang dexterity. So, ara na magsugod at 2 years old. Magsugod na dira. Next, social skill. 3 months ha? Very, very early pa guys. Bata pa kayo ni 3 months. Unsa ka ha? Social skill or social task. Yeah, 3 months pa. So, unsa man ang usual? Social smile? Napoy recognize mother. Okay. So, the answer is, okay, very good. The answer is social smile. Sige. Social smile is basically kanang mukuan na siya. Musmile na siya. Musmile siya if na siya familiar nga tao nga makitaan ba or na siya murag lingaw nga tao makitaan. What about this one? Yeah, magpahagwa. 21. 12 months na 1 year. Di pa ta pwede mo sulti og comes when cold actually because di pa man nakalakaw mga bata na nga time. Nihit pa na nga 1 year old nga maka-fully lakaw na dun siya. So di pa kita pwede ma-answer ano comes when cold. Recognizes mother. Earlier pa na ang recognizes mother. Actually, early na ang recognizes. Okay, the answer is actually waving. So mag-ana-ana ng bata ba? That means nga kaya usually mga bata man gyud mo flail na kanang magpataka lang og lihok ba? So if maka-wave na gyud siya but pasabot na siya control of his or her hand. All right? Kay kasagaran if early pa gyud nga mga bata if kabantay mo kay magpataka ra gyud na og warawara silang kamot. So if kabaw na sila mo ana-ana like bye-bye etc. So but pasabot kabaw na sila mo control sa ilahang hand. And that is the precursor for dexterity. So that is waving. Next. 3 to 8 weeks. Tulo ra man ay kasagaran. Just remember these. So less than 3 weeks and then after 8 weeks and then 3 to 8 weeks. The answer is? Okay. Sige. So the answer is embryo. So the first, say first ane. Can you type? Katong below 3 weeks. Unsay first? Actually, daghan pa ni sila pero ang kanang common lang ba? So unsay first ani? Yeah, okay, very good. That's the zygote. So conception until 3 weeks, around 3 weeks, that's the zygote. And then we'll develop na siya into 3 to 8 weeks, that is the embryo. And then 8 to 9 weeks onwards, that is the fetus na. Okay. 23. Reflex. Pag timaan man yung mga reflex ha, magawas po din sa akin. I don't understand daw anong apilon pa ni nila. Nga ang minimum age man sa schooling is 5 years old. So anong apilon pa ni dapat ang developmental milestone sa less than 1 year old na di man tamo ato daycare. Oh well. Lahasa na. Panikel, no? Rooting is katong mag-anak ka. Kanang if imong anaon ang bata, if asa ang pressure, mo adto pud mo turn ang bata. Okay, that is actually moro. That is moro reflex. So kana na siya kanang, di ba, kanang let's say imong kuguson ang bata, mag-anak ka sa bata, and then adedeng ulo niya if imong buhi ag kalit kay mag-ana ang bata, mo siya something like that. So anyway, that is the moro reflex. Mara silang makaratan ba mag-ana mo ana sa mga bata if imong kwaon ang support silang ulog kalit. The rooting as katong ug asang pressure adto silang mo turn. Na adere imong na mo ana pud ang bata. It's rooting. Let's go to Vygotsky. Sa man akong Vygotsky. Anyone knows? Okay, dakang ni answer of C. Na ni answer of B, nature-based. I mean, tanan man sigurong theories of development nature-based man yun. So, that's a given. Law, you can't answer nga law kay theory pa man siya. So, okay. So the answer is continuous. Meaning, naa siya ay kanang kuan. Naa siya stages na organized into one line. So pasunod siya ba? Naa siya pasunod. So it's a gradual continuous process. Next.
Patunayan na kaya ko bilang babae, walang pwedeng pumadlang sa pag-
Sige. Kaya siya. Notice, duha ka buk ang example sa dilera usa. So don't be confused. Si Kiko and si Sharon. Okay, very good. So the answer is phallic. Basig na niyo mo answer direct audipal ba? So if Kiko rang gibutang dire, that is audipal. So boy, ang bata, then mother. Nya, what if kanang girl ang bata, then towards the father? Unsa man na siya? That is the what complex. Can you type? The opposite. Okay, very good. Very good. Bolambao, sir or ma'am? Paano lang? Your honor. And then Sir Luke. So, in this case, naatay audipal nga example kang Kiko, and then naatay Electra nga example kang Sharon, and all of these fall under the phallic stage. Kining department. Very good. Next, Bronfenbrenner. Katong na mga na ba? Circles. You remember it? Yan ang biya ko na yung theory biya kay lingaw o diagram. Okay. So the answer is actually dog. Okay, the answer is actually dog. It's micro system. So when you say Bronfenbrenner, mura ni siya og kanang mag-anak ka, circles ba? Nasa tong ang bata. Okay? And then ang iyang nakapalibot niya at first nga layer niya, mura siya onion ba, naka-layers. So ang first nga layer niya is the micro system. Meaning katuning mga tao nga suod kayo sa iyaha and directly maka-affect sa iyaha. So yung family baron or anyone in the house or anyone in close contact sa bata. Then we have the macro system. Ang macro system is iyahang community siguro. school. Mesosystem is the society na gyud at large, and then the exosystem is it could be the country or kanang the region niya. So magkaanam og kadako, magkaanam sad og kalayo sa bata. Ang pinakaduol sa bata is the microsystem. Usually microsystems are about the systems of relationships in the child's home, usually. Next. Very easy. Multi-grade classroom. Unsa man dira ang feature? Multi-grade. Okay, very good. See, age. Multi-grade man. Sabot pasabot, lain-lain nga grades imong gisagol into one classroom. Naay kuan man. Example ani kay kanang naay gida lang anaay na visit na school akong papa before, supervisor man akong papa. Nya na siya na visit na school sa iyang district. Nga usa ra mo'y teacher. Unya grade 1 hangtod grade 6 kay under sa usa ka classroom. So usa ra school siya pero usa ra ka teacher. Usa po ka book section. Pero naa siya grade 1 to grade 6. Nya lang yung grade 1 kay duha ra ka book, yung grade 2 usa ra ka book, ayan na ba. So isagol tanan, and that ang difference lang niya, that's called a multi-grade classroom. The main difference lang or the main point of contention there is the age. Lain-lain sila og edad ang mga bata within that. Next. Very easy. This is kang Gardner or Gardner. Very good. Logical, mathematical. Yeah. Busy man sa Gardner kay akong prof sa San Carlos sa una kay kuan. Iyang na nga maestro si Howard Gardner. Sa Germany man siya na PhD. Iyang na teacher si Howard Gardner. Isn't kay. Anyway. So yeah, the answer is boy. That's logical, mathematical. Very, very easy raman iyang theories. Next, kini medyo libog na siya. So ang key nga difference ana is unsay kalainan sa reinforcement ug sa punishment. Kamo. Kanang positive negative, okay ra ko mo consider ana. Di man kay na siya kung ano nun jud sa board, pero kanang reinforcement yun o punishment, what's the difference? Sige, 9 answered C, 9 answered B. Isang jud. So ang iyang intention is iyang behavior sa bata no na magkaon sa classroom. So okay. So the answer is C. That is positive punishment. First yun nga i-identify is if reinforcement ba or punishment. Unsaon man nimo pagkaila sa yon rajud kayo. If ang question gani nag-mention og reinforcement or kanang imuhang i-encourage ang behavior. So panalitan magtuon ang bata, imuhang i-encourage nga magtuon siya para permi para niya ang imong paagi sa pag-encourage is sigaan imong kwarta if perfect, etc. So that's an example of reinforcement. Ang goal niya is to fortify or to solidify the behavior. If ang goal is to eliminate or to minimize the behavior, automatically that is punishment. Okay? So ang difference ra gyud niya, alam mo kalibog, ang difference ra gyud sa reinforcement or punishment is ang goal or ang intention. If reinforcement gani ang goal is to maximize or to replicate the behavior, concretize the behavior. If ang goal minimize or eliminate the behavior, that is punishment. And when you say positive, nakagihatag. When you say negative, nakagihuka. May kag positive punishment, nakagihatag nga bate. If may kag negative punishment, nakagikuha nga bate. Okay? Sige. So kagets ra ato? Again, just remember lang yun, punishment o reinforcement, difference niya. Reinforcement gani, dapat ang question maingon nga imuhang i-reinforce ang behavior, imong i-encourage ang behavior. Punishment gani, minimize or erase the behavior. Automatically, that is punishment. 30. Except. Asa dara ang except? Anyone? Okay, C, D. What's N? B? Okay. So the answer is boy. Nga naman. Education is never an individual endeavor. Okay? Dili in taon na pwede nga individual ang education. Kay bisan og unsa ka bright sa bata ug walay laing tawo nga motudloan na di gyud na makat-on. Okay? So if walay tawo nga mosulti siya unsa nang numbers, unsa nang letters, etc. Di gyud na makat-on bata bisag mao pa na pinaka bright nga bata sa kalibutan. Kaya again, education is always collaborative. At the minimum, dapat duha na katao ang involved, ang teacher or ang educator and then ang student. Okay? Even if mag-self-study ka, unsa may tun-an mo if wa kay basahon or wala kay tanawon, and kinsa may naghimo atong katong imong gitun-an or imong gibasa, of course, tao raman sad lain nga tao. So it can never be individual. Okay? Education is always collaborative in nature. Sige, 31. Politics, communism, very easy. Asa dara communism. So moingon ganito communism, especially in philosophy, it's not moingon beta diri komunista or communism kanang rebelde dayon, di ba? But there are communism is actually a legitimate philosophy and it's a legitimate form of government. So currently, unsa may largest nga communist country in the world currently? Give me two. Kanang common kayo. Yes, China. China is a communist country. And Russia, very good. So China and Russia are communist countries, very good. And kinsa may kinsa may originate ana, that is letter B, that is Karl Marx. Very good. Sige. Pero actually ako lang iko andre i-add dire ha, ang nagsuwat ana is this is katong kanang kuan, the Communist Manifesto ang pangan sa book. Duha na sila ha. That's Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Okay, ang permi lang mag-credit kay si Marx, pero naasa na si Engels ana. Next, globalization. Sige tayo kisutan pero mag-lisod og define. Kay 21st century education, etc., etc. So, what do we mean by globalization? D. Okay, very good. So the answer is dog. It's the integration of economies worldwide through trade and communication. Okay. Kaya when you say economies, apel naman na dira ang culture, apel na dira ang values and beliefs. Okay, that's one of the reasons po nga nung karon nga generation is extremely different. If you notice, karon nga generations mga bata, different kayo sa previous nga generation. Why? Kaya nagdako sila nga babad sila with the international culture. Dili ra Filipino nga culture ang ilahang naandan. It's actually the international culture because of social media. Sa una, if ganahan ta makakuan og kanang foreign nga culture, makanaw pa tag TV or mobasa, etc. Right now, every day makita na nila YouTube, TikTok, etc. So daghan kayong foreign nga mga concepts nga mo ma-inculcate sa mga bata through those through those mediums. It could be positive, it could be negative, but you know, as with all tools, depende rin sa paggamit. So that is an example. That's a very clear example of globalization. But when you say globalization, ang tumong dyan ana is economic. Okay. Sige, next. What was the primary reason for the K-12 curriculum? Kay, di ba, gipugos na siya sa time, ako na natubag. Pero kabaw naman sa ano. So the answer is dog. Okay, so gipugos na siya sa time ni Aquino, ni Noy. Not necessarily because, bisag kabaw gito nga, kuwang pa kayo teachers, kuwang pa kayo classrooms, etc. Because katuto nga tayo na nag-integrate na with the ASEAN, or the Association of Southeast Asia, Asian nations. So, unfair man, kay kita raman sa ASEAN, actually, marag one of two na lang, duha na lang ka countries in the entire world ang wala pa K-12 ato nga time, pag 2012. So, para makasud sa ASEAN, para makasud sa lain nga nasod ang atong labor force, kinahanglan ta mo adopt gyud og K-12 during that year gyud. So, atong gidali, gipugos. Okay? 34. Prefer siya og kuan, prefer siya og kanang imported. Daghan kayo biyaging anas to ano? For example, lang yun kanang shoes. Daghan kayo mga nice nga shoes kare, leather nga shoes. For example, kanang local nga brands, watch, kanang sa Marikina, etc. There are a lot of really good leather nga bags dira nga barato rasan. You can buy real nga leather nga bags in Marikina for like 5,000 or 6,000. Whereas if mo palit kag leather gyud nga kuan abroad, it would be mga 10, 15,000, almost double the price. But nadyo mga tao nga mo prefer nga adto dito kay mo lagi ko na. So the answer is xenocentrism. So it's the feeling of inferiority sa imuhang kaugalingon nga culture. May imong idaog-daog imong kaugalingon nga culture. Okay? Wag imo ba na naon mas lig-on man siguro made in the Philippines kaysa made in China. So in that regard siguro ta dapat masinocentric. Next, 35. Kini very hot issue. Kana sa ata pwede mo tudlo og religion in public schools, okay? Private schools may problema. But public schools kana sa ata dapat. Okay, so the answer is actually C. Kailangan makatudlo rata if it is outside of school hours. That's why kanang mga nakasway man tagriad no? Kanang our religion education sa schools na to, kanang especially catechism ba? Catechism. Especially kanang tingkalawat. Sana? Yeah, tingkalawat sa mga bata. Communion sa mga bata. So pwede na siya if it is taught outside of school hours. Dili pwede nga, dili ka magtudlo ko sa ka-subject kay magpasud ka dito kanang religion. And dapat na ay written nga approval sa parents. Dili pwede oral. It has to be written. Pinalmahan yun na sa parents. Nga nisugot sila anak. So those are the two conditions. Dapat outside of school hours. Second is dapat na ay written nga agreement, na ay pinirmahan yun nga paper. Otherwise, pwede tang makihaan na. Kaya remember, the Philippines is non-sectarian. Wala tay national nga religion. Daghan o Catholics, pero dili na national religion ang Catholic, ang Christianity. Kaya naman po yung lain-lain po nga religion in the Philippines. So wala tay national nga religion. 36. Bullying. So all of these are part of bullying except dili biya ka pwede maingon ha o nag-away ang mga bata, nag-bullying na sila. Naakay mga kinahanglang i-meet nga criteria para makaingon ka nga gibully ang bata or naay bullying nga nahitabo. Otherwise, dili ka pwede mo declare nga bully ni nga bata or gibully ni nga bata. Okay, very good. The answer is boy, physical and nature. Nga naman, kining A, C, and D, they're all correct. Kailangan na imbalance of power. Mo nang wrong ang letter B because dili man kinahanglan physical ang imbalance. Di man kinahanglan nga mas kusgan siya. Pwede man nga, let's say, mas dato siya or mas brighting usa ka bata as long as na dili balance ang ilahang level ba. So pwede na siya ma-root for bullying. Second is kailangan ay hostile intent. Kailangan tinuyuan. Dili pwede nga nasabod lang ang bata unya maingon na ka nga gibully na ang katong iyang nasabod. Dapat tinuyuan yun. Na hostile intent. And then lastly, dapat repeated over a period of time. Ang mga bata mag-away man dyan na, di na mahitabo ang school year, nga wadyo magsubagay, way mag-away, naadyo na. But, if permi na gani, sila ra gihapon, same actors ba? Kini si student A o si student B, maura gihapon permi mag-away. So, it's grounds for bullying na siya. Pero if kanang one time lang, nag-away na sila, etc. niya, wala na nabalik, or nabalik na gani, pila pa ka months after, di kay kakakuha na as bullying. Okay, normal dyan as mga bata nga magpatay. Labi na if wala ka dira. Oh well. Sige, 37. Nanata sa isms. Na 1 hour na tanya. Sige. 2 hours lang. Kaya pag-ulo. Okay, very good. That is Piranya. Listen. When you say essence gani, ato lang ng go briefly ha. So perennialism gani, but pasabot perennial, permanent. Perennial is permanent, okay? Permanent. So perennialism is kanang mga butang nga itudlo sa una nga until now relevant gihapon, itudlo gihapon karon. Example are katong classical literature. Another example, mathematics. Ang 1 + 1 sa una, 1 + 1 gihapon until karon. That is a perennial concept. Essentialism is unsa lay kinahanglan sa bata. In education, these are the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. So that is essentialism. If ang focus sa teacher na anang tulo, reading, writing, arithmetic, makaingon ka nga ang teacher is essentialist. Progressivism is kanang whole child approach. So dili pwede nga cognitive lang. It has to be affective sad, it has to be physical sad, psychomotor. So tanan nga aspects sa bata ang i-develop when you talk about progressivism. Next. So not foundational. The current curriculum, asa dira ang dili foundation sa current curriculum. Okay, very good. So actually the answer is letter C, perennialism. Nga naman, important gyapon ang perennialism kasi as I said, naatay mga concepts nga naa sa una i-teach gyapon until karon, but dili na siya component, dili na siya essential nga component sa K-12 curriculum. Ang gi-focus gyud is constructivism, progressivism, and reconstructionism. Specifically social reconstructionism or reconstructivism. When you say constructivism gani, kay pasabot ana, ang bata mo construct og iyang kaugalingong meaning based on his or her experience. May ka progressivism kata kung gi-explain kanina, whole child approach, dili pwede cognitive lang, dapat na ay lawas, na ay may kalag. And then reconstructionism is social reconstructionism, but pasabot kanang ang imuhang intention sa imong pagtudlo kay para maka naa sila awareness ug unsa moy angay nilang ma-contribute sa ilahang society, sa ilang community, sa ilang nasod. So moari na ni dire ang patriotism o love for others sa reconstructionism. So kanang tulo apil kayo na sa ato ang K-12. Ang perennialism medyo gikuan na siya. Medyo wala na gi-phase out siya kinihinay. Nagyapon tay concepts nga perennial pero ang way of delivering that is not perennial na. 39. Constructivism, contradictory. So asa mo contradict sa constructivism? Remember, constructivism, ang bata mo construct og iyang kaugalingong meaning based on prior experience. So ang bata na ay iyang kaugalingong experience, iyang gi-apply sa current nga topic, naka-construct siya iyang kaugalingon nga pagsabot ana nga topic. Any answer, dog? Okay. Anyone? Anyone else? Ako na answer B. Okay, na answer B. Ang A na lang. Tara na po na answer A. Okay, so the answer is A. Dili man. Contradictory. Huwag pasabot dili. Dili part of constructivism. So the answer is letter A. Nga naman, as I said, constructivism gani, ang bata mo muhimo og iyang kaugalingon nga pagsabot. Pero ang gigikanan na nga pagsabot kay katong iyahang past nga experience. Iyahang mga kaugalingon nga experience. So ang kanang tabula rasa, it's a philosophical notion nga kanang ang bata kay natao nga wala gyud alamag sa kalibutan. Ang constructivism magtuo nga ang bata nanadto siya nahibaw-an nga iya-iyaha. Naana gyud siya iyang kaugalingong nahibaw-an. Ang imo na lang is ang pag-guide sa bata nga makakuha siya ani nga concept nga imong gitudlo. Gamit ang iyahang unsa iyang nahibaw-an. So that is constructivism. Tabula rasa is the complete opposite of that. Ang teaching method nga mogamit og tabula rasa is the banking method. Banking method murag bangko kuno ang education ba. So ang teacher mo'y naay kwarta, ang bata mo'y wala. So ang learning sa teacher iyang i-deposit sa bata. Ug wala i-deposit ang teacher, wala gyud mo gawa sa bata. Nya ang constructivism mo ingon nga dili. Ang bata na jud aisod. Ang iyahan na lang ang part na lang sa teacher is pag-guide sa unsa to ang nana sa bata daan para maka-achieve og understanding sa kana nga concept. 40. Sige, medyo taas. Try to read. Okay, very good. So the answer is A, zone of proximal development, or that is the ZPD. All right. So when you say zone of proximal development, but pasabot ra gyud ano? That's not the ZPD. Oy. No, this is not ZPD. They are all part of the same kanang kuan. They are all part of the same theory, pero dili na ZPD. That is D, scaffolding. Okay, yeah, it's scaffolding. Kay scaffolding is but pasabot ana ang bata dili nimo pwede nga idiretso nimo nga igawas lang nimo dito, pasagdan na nimo. Kailangan hinahinayon sa nimo. Okay? So, for example, if magtudlo ka og PEMDAS sa bata, parenthesis, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, pwede din na nga ang bata wala pa hinibaw-an sa bisag addition lang imong idiretso pa PEMDAS. Unsa may answer sa bata? So dapat before ka magkanang PEMDAS, imo sang itagsa-tagsa. Kuptan sa nimo siya while nagkanang learn pa siya addition, subtraction, division, sa panadira until such time nga kaya na niya. Okay, ang tao nga kanang mutudlo sa iya ha, that is the MKO. That is the more knowledgeable other. Ang zone of proximal development or ZPD, that is kanang pagkabutang sa bata nga kanang kaya na niya, kanang awa pa siya kabaw-an ang concept pero nanabitaw niya ang tanan nga prerequisites. So maragnanan niya ang tanan nga skills. For example, sa pandas, kabaw na siya mo plus, times, divide, mo add, mo compute og exponent, mo ilag parenthesis, pero di pa siya kabaw mo pandas. Pero kabaw na siya sa individual nga parts. So, but pasabot, appeal na siya sa ZPD, na siya sa zone of proximal development. Pasabot, kaya na niya mo proceed ana, pero di pa jud ingon nga kamao pa siya, tudloanan pa siya, pero kaya na niya, kaya na siya skills ana. Maore pasabot ana ZPD. Yang ang mugahin niya ana, ang muganin niya ana, that is the MKO. That is the more knowledgeable other. Ang paagi sa pag-abot dira is the scaffolding. So hinahinayan og kupot, hinahinayag buhi until such time nga makaabot na gyud siya sa learning. Okay. Next. Natural law. Sa philo man ni natural law. Okay, so the answer is dog. Answer dog, sir, kay naay natural. So if naay natural no word, kay natural law man, so dog. Okay, so the answer is actually A. There is a universal right or wrong upon which all human actions should be based on. But pasabot sa natural law, bisan og dili pa nimo gamiton imong hunahuna, bisan og dili ta maghimo og mga balaod, naa-joy objective nga sakto og dili. Okay, dili kinahanglang hunahunaon. Naa-joy by virtue of nature, na-joy daan nga sakto, naasay daan nga dili. Okay? For example, ang pagpatay, regardless of unsa ka nga kanang culture, sayop man jud ang mopatay. So that's an example of natural law. 42. Technical and moral standards. So duha ha, technical and moral. That's the answer. Okay, so that's the answer of D. So D here is an effective distractor. The answer is actually boy. Okay? Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. Nga naman, ang Code of Ethics, sakto na siya moral standards, pero walay labot ang technical standards dira. Okay? So, yung ganito technical standards, ang technical nga capacity. Ang sa nga naay technical and naapoy moral nga standards kay ang PPST, the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. So ang standard dira ang gipasabot, moral standard ug technical standard. So standard sa iyang pag-conduct sa iyang kaugalingon ug standard sa iyang pagtudlo. So dapat na ay minimum nga qualifications. Ang kinatong gibuhat karon nga nag-review mo for a board exam, apil na sa PPST. But pasabot, apil na siyang technical standard nga let passer ka para makatudlo. So that's appeal sa technicals. That's included in the technical standard. Nga wala na siya sa Code of Ethics. Ang Code of Ethics, by virtue of its name, focus na siya on ethical and moral considerations. 43. Not a standard. Okay. So the answer is, anyone? Not a standard. Okay. Letter B. A, C, and D are all standards. Apil yun na siya. A, naay academic freedom ang teacher. C, mo transmit ta og culture o heritage. And letter D, dili ta manghilabot og political nga actions. Okay? Dili ta. Mabito na bawal during campaign period, kabantay mo. Bawal kayo na sa DepEd or sa mga teachers in general nga mo publicly campaign for a candidate. Pwede ta privately, mo istorya kin sa atong butahan, pero in public dili ta pwede mo announce dire kin sa atong butaran. So the answer is boy. must exercise discretion in case of mutual attraction love develop with a student. So honestly for this, di man gyud noon siya illegal. Di siya illegal pero it's very bad. Unya, ang kuan nang gyud ani is if naa nga ni mutual attraction gani sa imong student, huwata lang pud nga sunod tuig. Kanang if mahimo ba huwata lang nga dili na siya nimo student yun. Kaya there is a very clear murag kanang ethical nga dilemma dira. Imo gyud estudyante. So dako kayo ang chance nga pwede ka mabias ana niya or pwede niya magamit ang inyong relationship as a leverage for his or her grades or benefits. Daghan og kanang kuan ba, daghan og considerations nga dili na angay dapat i-consider. So bisan may kag mo exercise ka og discretion as much as possible ayaw lang. Pwede siguro pass na student nimo, may estudyante nimo karon. Fine anyway, ang mga senior high dagko naman na. So, pwede siguro karon estudyante nimo niya nagkiiganay gyud mo. Huwata lang sa gyud ninyo nga mo next year na lang. At least next year. Eh bisan og student pa siya dira nga school, at least dili na nimo directly estudyante gyud ba. So, anyway, mao na siya B. Next, 44. Kene, Teacher Karen. Sana all si Teacher Karen. Naano siya kang Maslow, di ba? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay, very good. So self-actualization, no? Si Teacher Karen na naman niya tanan. So kanang wala na siya ilaing kanang kuwang. Ang iyahan na lang yun is self-actualization. Kanang fulfillment niya sa iyang kagalingon ba? Kaya okay naman si ma'am. Okay naman siya. Finish na siya sa iyang doctorate. Okay na siya kanang iyang peers, na siya confidence, sa panila na siya belongingness, na siya financial security. So ang iyahan na lang yun, isang iyahan na lang, fulfillment siyang kagalingon. 45. Not considered, ha? Not considered. Daghan kay trabaho ang teachers, pero dili ni appeal sa itong trabaho in town. Pero honestly, daghan kay trabahoon ang mga teachers nga. Hindi mo na naon, di kita trabaho na to. Hindi pa trabaho school. Oh well, nanood. Ningsod man ta, so, you know. Yaw-yaw, pero trabaho. Okay, very good. Cap. Provide psychological therapy. Ang taon po ha, dili in taon ka therapist. Wala tayo degree in psychology, so di in taon ka mo hatag mo tugag-tugag diagnose og bata nga na depressed ka dong or kanang mao ni siya dong tungod sa imong pamilya sa una ana wa man tay di man ta train nga therapist in taon. So atay labot ana. Mo nang i-refer gyud na nato sa official nga guidance counselor. Lain ba ng guidance officer o guidance counselor ha? Guidance officer more on forms ra na siya. Mo na mga maestra. Guidance officer kay train gyud na sila nga psychologist. O guidance counselor nga train gyud na sila nga psychologists. 46. Nanatas mga balaod. Kini mga balaod daghan kay kung memorize ani sa una. Gatos ka pin unya ning gawas kay usa ra gyud ka buok. Gabaing PRC. Din akong daghan nag-memorize ani. Soft copy, di ko sure. Ask Sir Lex lang or Sir Axel. I'm not sure if kanang kuan. If unsa may arrangement nila regarding this, honestly. So, sama na siya. Foundation for all public schools. Okay, dog. May pinakatigawang. By the way, kining mga RA bitaw, Republic Acts, mabantayan ninyo, karon is nanata sa RA 12 man siguro, 12,000, 13,000 dapin. So, magkadako ang number, magka-recent. So, if 12 or 13,000, butasabot, murag karon ra ng tuiga or last year. If kanang lagyo na kayo, like in letter B, RA 4670, daan na kayo ni siya nga mga balaod, mga 1990s pa siguro ni or early 2000s pa na siya. So, manilhan na nimo. And then kining mga decrees, kadugay ng taon ana, kanang educational decree ED 1863, maunay sa time pa taon na sa Espanyol, time pa na sa Spanish. Mao na ang decree nga nag-mandate nga magtukod og mga elementary school sa mga barangays. Pero dili po to siya formal nga elementary school. Ang ilaha to is kanang to teach religion lang. Sige. Kene, bilingual education. Also, mailhan po nimo ang kining MEX. Okay, ang mga pangan sa DepEd, by the way, karon DepEd siya, Department of Education. Before that, ang pangan niya DEX. Department of Education, Culture, and Sports. Before pag yun ana, ang pangan niya sa time ni Marcos, ang pangan pag yun niya is MEX, Ministry of Education, Culture, and Sports. So Ministry of Education, Culture, and Sports, then nahimo siyang DEX, Department of Education, Culture, and Sports, and then karon nahimo ng DepEd, gibuwag na ang Culture and Sports. So Department of Education na lang gyud siya. So the answer is actually bilingual ha, bilingual. Dili mother tongue. Bilingual, katong Filipino ug English. So letter A, time pa ni Marcos. Time pa ni Marcos, mo ng M, kay ministry. Sa time ni Marcos, parliamentary pa mata, di pa mata presidential. So parliamentary government pa tamo na ang mga departments, dili pa departments ang tawag sa una, ministries pa. So Ministry of Education, Culture, and Sports, MEX order. Number 25, series of 1974. Oh, ang time pa man ng Marcos. So, ato nga time gi-formalize nga Filipino o English ang ato ang lingua franca or atong national languages. Runs counter. Which is it? Dog. No. Again, runs counter. So walay labot sa goal sa non-formal education. Walay labot sa non-formal education. Asa dira ang walay labot sa non-formal education? Okay, very good. The answer is A. Nga naman, ang kanang to produce globally competent college graduates, formal education man na. A college degree is a type of formal education. Ang non-formal kanang ALS, kanang SPED, unsa pa na kanang TLE, kanang techbook, etc. So those are non-formal. Pero may nga kag college graduates, those are part of formal education. Gets? Okay, ADI. Sige. So again, ay careful gid mo with the questions ha. Sige. 49. Asa dire ang dire mo describe sa CPD? Samok di ni CPD. Pero di man kayo kuno stricto. Mag-renew bi ako this year sa akong PRC. So, I don't know. Pero ingon ako mga kauban nga di ako kuno stricto. Dadan-dadan lang ni mo char dito. Okay, so the answer is dog. Currently 25 CPD units. From what I heard, mo differ man gyud na siya, mo lain-lain na siya per profession. Nay uban nga professions nga mo gamit og 45 units. I think ang teachers kay 45 units. And then apoy uban nga professions nga higher than 45, nay uban nga lower than 45 units. Okay? So dapat kuan dili na 25, dapat 45 units. Pero ingon sila mahangyo ra man daw. I don't know. Tanaw lang ako ron, renew na ako. Next. Kamu po no? Hapit na ba inyong exam day aday? Good luck ninyo. O ig March, April, May. O ig May ninyo kay ato na mo PRC. Maglinya na mo dito kuha sa inyong lisensya. 50. Declares the responsibility of the government. Klaro na kayo na way labot ang ug sino. Kay 1987 yun ang Constitution. So wala labot ang 1863 o 1901. Ano lang ba? Elimination. So either B or letter D ra answer. Asa ka na? Asa man na dira dapit ang education sa Constitution. Nagbasa mo Constitution? 1987 Constitution. Pila ka buok ka ng article sa Constitution? Sige daw. Kasi mapareha mo kauson sa una nga 270 ka buok article sa Constitution. Okay, so the answer is dog, Article 14. Article 14 is about education. And to answer my question, kuan 18 kabuok kanang articles in the Constitution. Basahan lang na ninyo, mubo raman na 30 at 20 pages ang siguro nakapin ang Constitution. I-overview lang ninyo ba? I-run through lang ninyo. At least kabaw mo sa Constitution. Importante ba na? Especially Article 6, 7, and 8. Tanan dyan actually. Kaya ang Article 1, 2, ang Bill of Rights, National Patrimony, etc. Apil pa man na. Ang legislative, executive, o judicial, apil pa man na. Ang ato agad sa education personally na sa Article 14. Remember that ha? Article 14, ang education. 51. Philippine Professionalization Act. Butas ang kuan ani is kato ni siyang time nga kining require na og gi-require na ang teachers nga mopasar og board exam. prior to this, wala pa board exam ang mga teachers. Dili pa sila mag-board exam. Pero after this act, kay kinahanglan na siya board exam. Answer is CAP, 92, 93. Okay? That is the Philippine Professionalization Act of 1990. Ay! Dili din na siya, sorry. Dili na 1934 ang kanang question. Dapat 1994 dahil, sorry. So, pero anyway, that is the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994. Hibong bita ko kay 1934 before pa man sa World War II. Tulugaya na gyud ani. Sakto day. 1994 na siya. Sige, my mistake. Pero the answer is C. Naman inaha 92, 93 mo anang Professionalization Act. So importante na siya kay ara nagsugod nga mo require na og license. Kin mo require na og board exam. So ara gikan na kini ato ang board exam karon ara nagikan anang balaura. So timan-ay na ninyo. RA 92, 93. Next, kini. Free tertiary education. Bag-o rin di ba? Just recently na. Type daw dira og kinsa mo'y author ani nga balaod. Sa time ni Aquino na permahan, pero kinsay author? Aquino Duterte. Murag Duterte na din yun. Okay, very good. So si Bam ang author ani. Bam Aquino ang author ani nga law. Kining free nga college. Okay, so the answer is boy. 1093-1. Universal access to quality tertiary education. Ang 1091-2, mao na ang CPD. Next, kini, PhilSat. Pero na-abolish na din ang PhilSat kay unconstitutional ko na. Pero sa liga sa law kay ako lang na siyang gi-enter direct kay maora ba ni sila ang walay labot ang SHED. Kay usually walay labot ang PRC. Kay ang PRC man may mo conduct og mga board exams, correct? Even sa medicine, PRC man gihapon. Pero sa law dili PRC ang mo handle. So kinsa man? Kay license sila pero dili PRC ang magbuot sa ilang exam. Okay? Unlike sa medicine, unlike sa atua, sa uban nga professionals nga PRC gid ang mo conduct sa exam. So the answer is the answer is letter A, the Legal Education Board. So kanang paano siya appeal na siya sa Philippine Bar o niya, pero mao ni mga dako-dako usually mga dean sa mga kanang mga College of Laws. Pero under gihapon ni sila sa supervision sa Supreme Court. Pero sila ang LEB, ang Legal Education Board, sila gyud may mohimo sa exam. Okay, it's not the PRC. Pero PRC gihapon may mohatag sa ilang license. Murag kuan lang, di lang mo pasalig ang PRC nga sila may mohimo. Next, 54. La, ako na nabutang ang answer. Which of the following does not belong to the group? Unsam din ang mga balaura di ay. Nga doesn't belong to the group man. O, kabaw na ta sa C ug D, di ba? Ang letter C kay katong free elementary sa times Spanish. Ang letter D, 93-1 free nga college. Ang C, free elementary. Ang D, free nga college. Ang kanang letter B, mo nang free nga high school. Ara nagsugod nga free ang high school sa Pilipinas. Kanang letter B. So ang answer na dira is letter A, way labot. Kato ning Governance of Basic Education Act. So mao ni katong nagrename gikan sa DEX paingon sa DepEd. Kining 9155. Okay? So katong B, C, ug D, free elementary, free high school, free college. So ang asimang ra ang letter A. Ang letter A kay renaming the DEX to DepEd. 55. Asa man eh? Ano daghan ng elementary compared sa high school or tertiary? Pero bentaha biya karon because of kabantay mo daghan na kay mga integrated schools. So at least kanang nakaapas-apas ng high school kay sa una every barangay na ay elementary school pero in one municipality kasagaran duha tulo ra ka buok high school. So gamay ra kay high schools. At least karon murag almost every barangay na nay high school hapit no katungod na ng mga integrated schools. Which is better, good. So the answer is di po ka pwede mo pre-Hispanic in town. Uy, wala pa man ito ispilahan sa wa pa naabot ang mga Espanyol nung sapon. Kita may matudlo na to atong panahon na sa Lapu-Lapu. Okay. So, asa man dira? Okay. So, boy, Spanish. Hispanic is Spanish. So, pre-Spanish time, katong time pa nilang Lapu-Lapu, wala pang ispilahan ato. Formal nga ispilahan. So nagka-start with a formal elementary school sa Spanish na nga time. Nya gi-expand og maayo sa American period. 56. Kini common kaayo ni. I mean tanan mga maestro nakasubay ani saon ka man. Mayon tatog na pura to estudyante nya usahay tag 40 tag 50 ka buk ang estudyante maato na nimo check. May man nag wa kay laing trabaho. Sige, pero usually unsa man gyud dapat ana? Pwede ka mo pa-check sa bata dili. Okay, the answer is dog, no. Di gyud taon na pwede hang mga bata imo pa-check kon. Especially if subjective ang answer. Pero anda ay kabaw naman tantanan ana nga lisod na buhaton. Labi na if ka na mga essay, ako kasagaran og may essay nga part sa kong test, pa-exchange nako. Kuan man ko sa mga bata nga may buot naman naman may utok gamitan na og sakto man ang di og pare-pareha sa akong gisulti ala check in niya og di aron ni. Tay Ginoo, mahuman ba diin taon na nato. Matatog paretas private schools nga tag 5 tag kuan ra, tag 10, tag 15 ra kabuk bata. Anyway, pero dapat di na ha, no na. Dapat. Sige, 57. Teacher education curriculum. Kinsa mo buhat? Ang PRC, unsa may buhaton? Unsa kay sakto dira? Okay, very good. So, wrong sila. Dili letter C, letter D ang answer. Teacher education curriculum is curriculum for teachers. So college na dapat. Okay? Teacher education man. So ba't pasabot education para sa teachers? Katong pag-college na to ba? So mo ng CHED na dapat ang mukupot. Dili in town DepEd. Uy, naabay gitrain nga teachers ang DepEd, wala man. Wala may teacher education ang nga curriculum ang DepEd. Sige. Next, PPST. So naatay sa PPST na novice, na proficient, na highly proficient, na distinguished. So pila man naka stages? Novice, proficient, highly proficient, o distinguished. Opat ka stages, if I'm correct. Okay. So ako lang i-explain daan ha. The answer actually is proficient A. So if may nga kang novice, but pasabot ana kana nang before pa sila, kana nang practice teaching pa ba? Okay? So but pasabot maglisod pa na sila ang mga novice nga teachers, maglisod pa sila og tudlo if walay mukuyog nila. Kailangan na ay teacher nga mukuyog nila. Mo nang i-practice teaching na to na gitay kanang mentor nga maestra. Okay? If makahimo na ganita nga magtudlo na ta nga wala na magtan-aw na to, proficient na ta. If kabaw na ta mo train og lain nga teachers, highly proficient na ta. If kabaw na ta mo train og lain nga teachers, highly proficient ta. If maka-contribute na ta og research, maka-contribute na ta og mga bag-o nga pamaagi, bag-o nga resources, mo na nang distinguished na ta. Walay highly distinguished. Okay, so again, novice, kinahanglan pakuptan ang kamot. Kinahanglan na ay lain nga teacher nga mo guide nimo. Proficient, kaya na nimong ikaw rang usa nga magtudlo. Highly proficient, kaya na nimo nga mo train og lain nga teachers. So ikaw na may mutudlo og mga novice nga teachers. Distinguished, naka-contribute na ka sa field of education. Either naka-research ka, nakahimo ka og dako nga contribution sa eskwelahan, etc. Next. 59, 1053-3. What's that? Incorrectly describes it. Sige, hint. 1053-3 is the Enhanced Basic Education Act or the K-12, the K-12 law. Okay, so the answer is dog na naman. And ang kanang K-12 dili naman bilingual. Kaya na naman tayo MTB. So we actually use more than 2, either 3 or 4 or more nga kanang kuan nga languages. Kaya na atay English, na natay Filipino, plus napag tay MTB. So, ang 1053-3 kay dili siya apil ang kanang bilingual education. Ang bilingual kato pa nang sa time pa ni Marcos until before sa K-12. 60. So sa katong law, katong sa free nga college, unsa man mo'y maka-disqualify nimo, aw kanang unsa man mo'y dili makapa-disqualify nimo. Sa ni? Lagi dili lagi. Asa man dira ang dili makapa-disqualify nimo. Okay, so the answer is dog. Students who got a general average of 1.5. Ngati. naka-dean's list na noon, imo na noong i-disqualify. So dili pwede. Ang kanang A, kanang nanada ay mga nanay degree, bali second course na nila. Letter B, kanang mahagbong sa entrance exam. And then letter C, kanang kanang malate og kanang kuan ba, malate og graduate for 1 year. So pwede sila i-disqualify. Pero kanang makagraduate 1.5, no? Yate, rapod sa gobyerno, no? 1.5, taas kay cut-off, 1.5. So dili na siya. D. 61. SMs.
May kwan pala kami review. Ayun ka lang nakita.
Natay review na. Sige. Maybe turn off the mic lang ko sa... So what's your answer? Least learner-centered. Okay, very good. That is perennialism. So perennialism is usually banking method. So ikaw teacher, ikaw mo deposit og information or knowledge, ang bata no right dawat. So that is perennialism. Yeah, ang mutakol siya on subjects nga or concepts nga dili mawala, permanent. 62. Classroom management. Lisod kay ning classroom management. Isa nung unsa ka bright nga maestra, if wala kay experience sa classroom, di jud ka kahimuan ni. Kaya this takes skill and experience. Kinahanglan jud kang experience ani. How do you manage your classroom? So if sa katong mga ni answer og constant observation, og dili mo observe ang maestra, asa may padulngan sa iyong classroom? If wala dira ang maestra di ay. Okay, the answer is A, rules of discipline. Nga naman, kanang B, C, ug D, ug mawala ang maestra, kinsa may mohatag og reward or punishment? Kinsa may mo-observe? Kinsa may ilang respetuan ng authority? Wa man dira ang maestra. Subot pasabot ug wa ang maestra, magpinatyanay na ng mga bata dira. So wala. Dapat, kailangan, ang pinaka-essential good in maintaining classroom management is na adyo disiplina ang mga bata. Nga bisan og wala ka dira sa classroom, bisan dili ka kuyog nila, naa sila disiplina sa ilang kaugalingon. Nga mobuhat ug unsa ang imong ipabuhat, unya dili mo buhat sa katong mga dili angay buhatonon sa classroom. Okay? 63. So we have this, siguro sa public schools, dili kayo ni mo matter kay kasagaran sa public schools. Syempre, kato na po mga kuanpod, mga Pinoy na po kasagaran. Pero in private schools, this is actually very common and in international schools. Nga daghan og foreigners bitaw. For example, sa San Carlos makugikan. So daghan kayo may foreign nga students in San Carlos. Daghan ko classmates nga taga-lain-lain nga countries. So pero naa siya limit og pila ra na sila kabuok. Nya asa ang exception? Okay, the answer is letter A. So kanang mga diplomats from different countries, mga ambassadors, etc., naa na sila ilahang kaugalingon nga school for their children. Na ato nila, mura siya international school ba? So naa siya sa Pilipinas, pero pwede gyud nga puro foreigners ang kanang students dira. Other than that, ang kasagaran gyud nga mga schools naara gyud na limit og pila, I think it's 20% of the total population or 5% man siguro. Murag 5% of the total population. Yeah, murag 5% of the total population ra. Ang pwede sa kuan, pwede nga enrollment ninyo. So di siya pwede mo excess o makaabot na kag 5% sa imong total ng population if na mo apply nga foreigner di na nimo dawaton. Di po ko sure sa 5% actually, pero murag 5% man. 64. Cause and effect. Sure na tang dili Venn diagram, no? Compare and contrast man ang Venn diagram. So unsa man? Okay, the answer is dog.
Fishbone.
Naingon nga Venn diagram. So the answer is fishbone. Cause and effect man. Okay, fishbone is katong ana ba kana mag-ana niya, mag-ana-ana. So naay time, linear progression. So from start to finish, and then naay kanang cause og kanang naay cause dire. Oh, yeah. Ano, na-effect dire and then ay mga causes niya spilin, mga salinsing. So that's the fishbone diagram. Mura siyang bukog sa isda. 65. Primary basis.
The learners.
Very good. That is learners. Always man yun na. Primary consideration is always the learners. Pachay lain. 66, UBD. UBD nga lesson plan, understanding by design. Asa man dira dapat ang assessment? Sige. So, dili kayo familiar siguro maani. So, the answer is transfer.
Transfer.
Ang kuan ani, ang motivation ani nga part na ani sa explore. Ako lang i-compare sa traditional nga DLP ha or daily lesson plan or detailed lesson plan. So, ang explore is ang motivation. Ang firm up is kanang, let's say this. Ang firm up is discussion proper. Transfer is assessment and then deepen is kanang murag sa effective na nga part ba. So, say gamit ana nga kanang lesson, asa nimo na ma-apply, etc.
Kasi active.
So that is deepen. Next. 67. Indirect instruction, which does not belong to the group. Asa way labot sa indirect instruction. Wala ako na nasulti. Bugo. Sige, balik. Asa may way labot sa indirect instruction? Sa yun rin po na. Okay, so the answer is dog. Lecture recitation is a direct instruction. Kinatong gibuhat, is this direct, indirect? Anyone?
Direct.
Yes, this is a direct. By the way, what is unsa man ni siya atong gibuhat? Is this a discussion or is this a lecture? Ma-confuse biya nga terms. Kinatong gibuhat right now, is this a lecture or is this a discussion?
Discussion.
Anyone? Okay. So actually, ang atong gibuhat ron, this is morely lecture. Nga naman, when you say lecture, usa ka tawo ang maghatag og input. Okay? So naitaw nga maghatag og input, ang mga naminaw kay igor po naminaw o tig-receive ra sa input. Yes, no interaction or pwede sa na interaction pero minimal like what we're doing right now. If discussion gani dapat back and forth yun. Mura mong nagdebate ba? Musulti ko ani sa akong explanation. Kamo may mo bawas ko nga pwede sa naani on sir or dili na mo sir anana. So that is an example of a discussion. Okay? Ing ani gani nga naaray material ato arang ibasa, ato alang i-run through and then ato lang ako may mo-explain. Nya kamo kay majority of you are receptive lang, listening lang. So that is just lecture. Okay. Discovery, experiential, and as a concept. Inductive, these are all direct, indirect instruction. 68. So na-weakness imuhang students. What do you do? Okay, very good. So, when you're looking for weaknesses, ang imuha dong gamiton is diagnostic. Okay, when you're looking for weaknesses, you have to go for the diagnostic. Next. Ang opposite aning diagnostic unsa man? If you're looking for kanang ug asa maayo ang mga bata. Say opposite sa diagnostic. Diagnostic ug pangitaon nimo asa siya dapita mag-reason ang bata. Diagnostic if mangita kag asa dapit mo excel ang bata. Unsa man na siya? Anyone? Proficiency, yes, pero na other term. Kana na diri siya pilian. Yes, that is aptitude. Okay? So if mangita gani ka og kanang weaknesses, that is diagnostic. If mangita ka og strengths, that is aptitude. And then placement is if imuhang i-rank. So asa siya dapita relative sa iyang mga kauban. That is placement. Standardized test is wala lang, test lang. Nga pareha sila tanan og gitikan. That's a standardized test. Next, 69. Kang Dale's cone of experience. Hinamdom pa mato? O ano ba? Ano? Unsa man to siya? You remember that?
I remember itong first.
What's the answer? Okay, very good. The answer is dog. The closer you are to the base, the more direct the learning experience becomes. So ana man na siya. Ang pinaka-ubos diri is pinaka-direct nga mga direct purposeful activities. And then pinakataas is katong pinaka-abstract. So usually reading lang or discussions, etc. Next, 17. Halfway through na tayo. Ego ha, ego. So when you say ego, again, when you say ego, rationality, rational. Okay, the answer is C. Letter B, o kanang, ang letter B is, yeah, letter A and letter B, they are murag id, no? So impulsive ra kayo siya. Walay thought ba? Ang ilaha lang is murag nasakitan siya or na-offense siya niya. Off the mic. Right. And then letter D, ang kana pong, no, that's not letter D. Letter C na dapat. Ang kanang letter D, kay what wrong have I done to deserve this? Murag OA rasad kayo. So the answer is letter C. Unsa iyang gi-assess ug unsa man ang ilang dili ganahan sa kuan ya, naa ba koy pwedeng mahimo nga kanang kuan, naa ba tay pwedeng mahimo nga matangtang ni ang ilang di ganahan ako, etc. So naa siya assessment ba sa iyang kaugalingon. Ang A, B, and D are very emotional ra kayo. Yeah. Next. Fair, caring, and approachable. Ari na ta sa mga types of power. Kinamdam pa maning mga types of power. Good evening, Nixon. Sir Nixon? Yeah. Pasensya kayo if mag-sir or ma'am ko ha. Kay usahay biya masayop. Na yung mga ma'am din nga ma-sir nako, etc. Yeah, gender equality ba ito? Alright, so the answer is letter C, referent power. When you say referent power, ang ipasabot ra na is kanang power nga kanang imong hold sa usa ka tawo based on your relationship with that person. Legitimate power gani, power by virtue of your position or your ability. So, position more or less. So in this case, kining ato ang gibuhat karon, tigaay kog duha ka powers nga mo apply sa kuha. Kining ato ang current nga situation run. Gaya kog duha na.
Expert power.
Yeah, one is expert power, the other is
Legitimate.
very good. One is expert power, the other is legitimate power. Nga naman, legitimate power because I have authority. Ako man may lecturer ninyo, so I have the authority o unsa may buhaton nato with the lecture. And then expert power because I am an expert more or less with the topic that is being discussed. So nakapasar naman ko ani, nahuman naman ko ani. So more or less expert siguro. Anyway, maumpo na akong trabaho. So yeah. So that is legitimate and expert. And then reward power is if you will give rewards or punishments sa tao. Referent is if based on your relationship. 72. Arin na ta sugod na ta sa assessment. Sige, daghan ba maglibog aning assessment. Pero again, make sure nga tun-an ninyong assessment ha. Importante kining assessment. Kay maora ni part sa Prof Ed nga dili subjective. Sagaran sa assessment kay ug magtuon lang jud mo, maka-answer jud mo. Ang uban ba nga questions sa Prof Ed kasagaran kay mga opinion ba so libog. Ang assessment kay if makatuon lang jud mo, maka-memorize mo, makasabot mo, maka-answer jud mo. I think i-upload Ma'am Elsa. Again, I'm not sure ha because kanang I'm not privy to the details of the management or unsa may ilahang move regarding this review. So kindly ask lang po ha, pero I think i-upload kay naamay ko nag-screen share man. Nag-recording man ba? But again, confirm lang. Okay, so the answer is dog, trimodal. Unsa man ang mode? Mode is katong pinakadaghan, pinaka-frequent nga mo gawas. So ang modes dira is 93, 85, and 34, di ba? Katulog ibalik each. So that is trimodal. Next. Major advantage of curriculum-based assessment. Excuse. Answer is Answer is oh, kanang
Okay.
letter B. Okay, anecdotal information. Anecdotal information is opinion or observation lang ba?
Hi, sir.
And
Good
then-
evening, sir.
Good evening. And then kining norm reference, that's the opposite of criterion reference. Norm reference yan ibot pasabot, imo rang gi-compare ang performance sa bata sa iyang peers. So it could be nga taas siya og kanang performance if norm reference imong gamiton kay ang iyang mga kauban kay nagkalisod pud ang utok. Pero siya hagbong gyud siya pero siya may highest so taas siya og norm reference ang imong basihan. Pero if criterion reference, wa man gyud siya kapasar so ubos siya ang performance. So the answer is actually D. It connects testing with teaching. Ano man, kay the curriculum, if teacher ka, di man jud ka makasupak sa curriculum. Dili man na pwede nga, 8 ka book subject sa curriculum, ang imo itudlo, 6 lang. So kung sa may nasa curriculum, imo ginasundon. Wala jud kay choice, ana. Whether you like the topic or not, you have to teach that. That's part of your obligation as a teacher. So if ang imuhang assessment kay based on the curriculum, makonect nimo ang imuhang teaching ug imuhang testing. But pasabot ang imuhang gitest, imong na-discuss or part siya sa inyong coverage. Next. 74. Asa kay most reliable? So short nga delete mode nga naman kay dili wala may nagbalik-balik dira nga value, di ba? Na may nagbalik-balik nga value? Wala. So walay mode dira. So ang pilian na to is mean or median. What do you think? Okay. So to get a reliable, ano na ini-answer F? Oh, okay, na-misclick lang. So to get a reliable picture of this. Okay. Sige, sorry, Ma'am Deli. If I wasn't informed na there were other participants here who couldn't understand sa ano. Sige, anyway, I apologize. So for this, if you notice, the numbers here are varied, diba? So there is an extreme value 97. I assume 100 ang perfect dito. So there is an extreme 97 and there is also an extreme 1. So if you average that, diba the mean is just the average? So if you average that, the average will not reflect the actual performance. Why? Because the 97 will be dragged down. So yung 97 bababa yan. Mga 40 na lang siguro yan kasi may 1 eh. Diba? So example 97 tsaka 1, that's 98. You divide it by 2, that's only 49. So does it reflect the group? No. Kasi yung 97 pag mean yung ginamit mo, pagiging 48 na lang siya or 49. Yung 1 naman ang score, magiging 49 or 48. So remember, if there are outliers, may mga very, very high scores and very, very low scores, di pwede na mean ang gamitin mo. Kasi it won't coincide with the actual data. So what you use is the median. The median is the middle score. So you look at the number of items there. You look at the number of scores. Example, there are 11 scores. So yung 6 na score, yun yung basehan natin kasi it's in the middle of the score. Okay, so you arrange it from lowest to greatest or greatest to lowest and then you pick the center. Okay, if even number naman siya, if there are 10 scores, so you pick the middle and then you divide it by 2. So the 5, the 5th and the 6th na scores, you add them together and then you divide it by 2 to get the median. Pero if for example, if 5 scores lang, so itong 3rd na score yung basehan. That's the median. Okay, but if there are 4 scores, so itong 2nd at saka 3rd na scores, i-add mo to, tapos i-divide ng 2. So that's your median. Okay, this is what you use if katulad ng if the example is like this, na may extreme na high and then may extreme na low. Kasi again, if you average them together, the result will be biased. It's either gonna drag down the average or drag up the average. So it will not be reflective of the performance of the group. Next, 75. Negatively skewed.
Highest value.
Okay. So kindly kindly chat lang sir ha.
Ay, sorry po.
It's fine. So paki-chat lang ng answer please. Thank you. Sige. So when we're talking about skewness, may sinerge ako dito na diagram here, this one. Nakikita nyo? Can you see this? All right. Anyway. Sige. So, can you see the diagram?
Wala po.
Wala po, sir.
Never mind. So, nasa PowerPoint lang tayo. Anyway, ganito na lang. Always, when you're talking about skewness, kung saan, di ba, ganyan yung diagram, di ba? Ganyan yan. Wait. I can draw, di ba? Can I draw? Then, let me check. So, nakikita niyo yung drawing?
Yes po.
All right, sige. So, there. So, this is called the bell curve or the normal distribution. So, always remember, kung saan yung skew, doon din yung tail. So, ang basehan natin is yung tail, yung buntot. Okay? Ito yung basehan natin. So, this is negative, tapos this is positive. Parang Cartesian plane lang ba? Diba? So, this is the negative part, this is the positive part. So, when you say negatively skewed, ibig sabihin, yung tail niya dapat nandun sa negative side. Okay? If you say positively skewed, dapat yung tail nasa positive side. Always remember, when we're talking about skewness, ang tail yung basehan. Okay? Ito yung buntot. Yan yung basehan. So if it's skewed to the right, so this is right. If ang tail dapat nasa right. If it's skewed to the left, dapat nasa left yung tail. Tsaka to get the how do I say this? Ganito yan. Mean. That's just mean. Sorry, I'm just writing. So mean, tapos median. Alak ka. And then there. Tapos mode. Okay. So mean, median, tsaka mode. That's the arrangement. Okay? Mean, median, mode. So if skewed to the left, yung tail, yung buntot nasa left side. Okay? If skewed to the right naman, nasa right side yung buntot. Always remember, buntot ang basehan. Okay? If negatively skewed, yung buntot nasa negative side. If positively skewed, yung buntot nasa positive na side. So in this case, negatively skewed yung distribution. So ang ibig sabihin nito, So nasa dito na part, dito na part, 'di ba? So ang highest na value is the mode. Itong mode. Kasi ito is pababa siya 'di ba? Pababa siya. So the mean here is the lowest number kasi it's very negative na. Tapos yung median parang okay pa. Tapos yung mode na is yung nasa may mga positive na siguro. Okay? So the highest value here is the mode. Okay, so the answer here is letter A. The mode corresponds to the highest value. Kasi yung mode ang nearest to the zero given na papunta tayong negative. So lahat nasa negative na. Anong klase kayang test yan? Bakit puro negative yung scores? So lahat negative. Tapos, since ganito yung arrangement, mean, median, mode, so yung mode ang highest. Kasi siya yung pinaka-near sa zero or pinaka-near sa positive side. Okay, basta, for skewness, always remember lang talaga. Always remember na kung saan yung skewness, doon din yung tail. Okay? If it's skewed to the right, dapat yung tail nandun sa right. If skewed to the left, yung tail nandun sa left. And yung arrangement, mean, median, mode. Ganun yan. Mean, median, mode. Sige. Anyway. So, you look at diagrams of that na lang. Next. Pag may skewness, so either ganito yung distribution or ganito yung distribution. So what does it mean? So this one is skewed to the negatively skewed kasi yung buntot nasa negative na side. Ito naman yung positively skewed. So pag ganito, majority of the scores, majority sa mga scores nasa positive na side. So medyo matataas yung scores. Sa positive side naman, majority sa scores nasa papuntang negative sila, 'di ba? Papuntang negative sila doon. So majority of the scores are low. Kadalasan sa mga scores are low. Tapos yung na lang, konti na lang yung matataas na scores. Dito naman, konti lang yung mabababa na scores. So, ano dito? The scores are concentrated at one end or the other end. So, pag skewed yung distribution, it means hindi siya balance. So, it's not balanced. Meaning, so may negative na skewness or may positive na skewness. Either marami ang nakakuha ng failing na grade or marami ang nakapasak or marami ang malaki yung grade. 77. Follow a negatively skewed. So again, negatively skewed, always di ba? So, dyan yung negative, dito yung positive. So, negatively skewed. So, dapat yung buntot nasa negative na part. Okay. So, dapat nasa negative na part. Ganun. So, what does this mean? Anyone? Answer? Oh. So, majority of the scores papunta dun sa positive. So, what does that mean? Okay, why your items were easy? Bakit easy? Kasi majority of the scores papunta sa positive na side eh. Okay, so ang ibig sabihin yan, matataas yung scores nila. Kasi papunta dun sa positive na side yung mga scores nila. So, pag matataas yung scores nila, majority matataas yung scores, you have to ask yourself, masyado bang madali yung questions mo? Were your questions too easy for the class? Okay? Am I understood? Kasi this is usually, para dito kasi nasa stock up majority of the review is dito sa mga skewness na yan. Pero again, always remember skewness, kung saan yung buntot, kung saan yung skewness, doon lang yung buntot. They just draw negative, positive, or if it's positively skewed, o dyan yung buntot niya, ganon. So always remember, kung saan yung buntot, yan yung kung saan yung skewness, doon yung buntot. Ito naman, below the mean. Diba? Mean, median, mode. Always remember, mean, median, mode. Ganyan yung bell curve. So, ganyan yung bell curve. Tapos, mean, median, mode. Ayan yung center. Mode. So, the answer is, all the examinees scored below the mean. Okay, meaning, it is positively skewed. Kasi ito nandito yung mean, di ba? So, dito yung mean. Ito yung mean. Tapos, ito yung median. I'll just put D here. And then, ito yung mode. Ito yung mode. So, dito sa mean, since ang mean yung nasa pinaka-positive na side, so ito yung largest na values. Nasa mean yung pinaka-matataas na scores. Okay, so nasa mean yung pinakamatataas na scores. And most of the other scores are papunta na sa negative na part. Okay, sorry for the diagrams. Very messy. Sige lang. Next. So that is, what was your answer again? Okay, that is letter A. Very good. So positively skewed. Okay, next. Sige, break muna tayo sa assessment. Let's go to government exams. O, sino dito? Sino yung nanguna ng government exams? Okay, good. The answer is Confucius. So government exams, or the concept of meritocracy, is attributed to Confucius in China. 80. What does John's percentile score of 80% in his class mean? Percentile score, Percentile score, not percentage score. Percentile score. Okay, very good. So the answer is dog. So when you say percentile score, that is an example of a norm reference. Okay, when you say norm reference, ang reference natin sa performance ng bata is yung mga peers niya, yung mga classmates niya. So kahit let's say 15 lang yung kay John, tapos over 50. So, sa criterion reference, ang passing ng 50 is 37, diba? Passing score is 37. Yung sa kanya is 15. So, kung criterion reference, bagsak talaga si John. But since we're using norm reference, tapos yung mga kaklase niya, Yung sumunod sa kanya is 11, 10, 9, 8, 0, 1, 2. So si John is technically sa norm reference, mataas yung mataas yung rating niya. Kasi yung mga classmates niya bagsak eh. Tapos bagsak siya pero siya yung hindi bagsak. pinaka least or pinaka highest scoring. So when you say percentile score, ang ibig lang sabihin nun na 80% of the class, he scored higher than 80% of the class. This is also what we use with the NAP. Are you familiar with the NAP? Not NAP. Yung sa, parang, what do you call that? The exam that we take in high school na binibigyan tayo ng para ng suggestion kung anong course yung take natin dapat. Parang aptitude test. Percentile score yung ginagamit doon eh. So, yung mga scores yun, NCAI, very good. So, may mga 90%, 96%, 97%, 98%, ganun. It doesn't mean na 98% talaga, genius ka, 98% ang score mo. Ang ibig lang sabihin na you scored 98% higher, you scored higher than 98% of the test takers. Yan lang yung ibig sabihin. So, it could be na ang score mo lang doon is 50 over 100. Pero 98% of the people who took the exam is less than 50 pa yun. So, it could be na bagsak ka talaga doon. Just that your percentiles, just that mas maraming bagsak kaysa sa'yo. So, mataas yung percentile score mo. So, that's the difference. Next. Wala. I already answered. Pero very easy. So, what's this? So, NCAI, by the way, is National College Admissions Exam. Okay, so when you're talking about various perspectives, you use panel discussions. Panel discussions. Kasi a panel has usually 5, 6, 7 members. That's they discuss together kung ano yung depending on the topic. Brainstorming, wala lang. Like, brainstorming is about generating spontaneous ideas lang eh. It's not really about discussing. Kahit pamadalian yung brainstorming eh. Tapos yung debate naman is it's not various perspectives, it's just 2 perspectives. Diba? When you're debating, there are only 2 sides. So, you can't really say na it's best for various perspectives. Lecture, even worse, kasi isang perspective lang eh. Perspective of the lecturer. So the best for various perspectives is the panel discussion. Next. Constructing rubric. Saan yung yan? Saan yung essential for rubrics? Okay, so letter C, actually. All of these are important for rubrics. So description, levels of achievement, rating, these are all important for rubrics. 83. Interactive daw. So what do you mean by an interactive na environment? Give me an example. You can use Dale's cone of experience for reference for this. So ano yung pinaka-interactive there? Okay, very good. The answer is boy. The child goes out and discovers for himself some rocks or fossils. Yan yung pinaka-interactive kasi yung bata talaga yung lumalabas eh, di ba? 84. Ano to? Resilient daw yung bata. Pero superior yung intelligence. So matalino talaga yung bata. Tsaka resilient din siya. Di siya madaling natutumba. Di siya madaling na-emotionally damaged. Pero very poor yung upbringing. Very poor yung environment niya. So what do you think will happen? Resilient yung bata. Di madaling naapektuhan. And very intelligent. But poor ang upbringing. Maybe siguro from a difficult family, from poverty, or from split parents, or maybe all of the above, orphans, stuff like that. Okay, the answer is dog. May slight change siguro. Of course, may effect talaga yan. But it will be mitigated because, as I said, matalino na yung bata eh. Naturally intelligent yung bata. Tapos, resilient pa siya. So, yeah. Very likely. I have an example for this kasi yung best friend ko is, she's currently teaching in UP Diliman. She's an instructor there. She was also summa cum laude in UP Diliman. We were classmates since kindergarten. She's my best friend. Tapos she's an orphan, diba? And she grew up poor. So, pero she was very intelligent. She was very smart. Ganun. My ano talaga, my difference, pero if kaya ng bata, ma-overcome talaga niya. 85. Teaching philosophy, experimentation, demonstration. Seeing is believing. Ganun. Okay, very good. The answer is dog. That is ano? Yeah, actually. Pero this can actually be this can actually be realism then, actually. Behaviorism lang is when we talk about behaviorism, it's mostly rewards and punishment, diba? Pero it's possible then na you can use demonstration and experimentation. But I think the best answer for this is realism. So mali yung answer Kiko here. Sorry. Next, 86. What about this one? Self-assessment, tsaka self-learning. So individual choice, individual outcomes. Yeah, anong SMs yun? Yung individualistic na SM. Okay, very good. That is existentialism. Okay, when you talk about individual choices, that is existentialism. No, why is this wrong? This isn't, No, this isn't progressivism. Anong wrong ang... Wait, sorry for this, but the answer key is wrong. This is not progressivism. This is existentialism. Oh well. Sige lang. I'll recheck the answer key. I know this isn't the answer because I was the one who wrote the question. So anyway, the answer there is existentialism. Anyway, 87. Sige, dito tayo. Difficult to spot kung ano yung difference nila. Discrimination. Okay, why? Let's go with this. Stereotype and bias are more or less the same thing. Ang ibig lang sabihin ng stereotype and bias is they have an unfounded belief. Na, okay, pag sinabi mo, for example, here in Colon, pag sinabi mo na, let's say here in Cebu, taga-Pastel na siya or dyan siya nakatira sa parang slums. So they automatically, parang automatically assume mo na mahirap yan or magnanakaw, ganun. So that's an example of a stereotype. So wala ka naman basis yan pero that's your automatic assumption. Prejudice is your emotion towards that. So pwede kang, because of your stereotype na baka magnanakaw to kasi galing to doon. So you have a prejudice na you are feeling threatened, you are feeling insecure, etc. So if you act on that prejudice, if may action ka na, dyan na yung pumapasok yung discrimination. Okay? So if you act on it na, that is discrimination already. In this case, there is an action. Kasi sinasubject niya sa unfair treatment yung bata na. So may treatment na talaga. So again, pag assumption lang, unbased, how do I say this? Parang unfounded assumptions lang, that is just stereotype or bias. Pag may emotions na natatakot ka sa kanya or you hate him or her, etc. because of your stereotype, that is prejudice. If my behavior ka na talaga, if you have actions against that individual or against that group of individuals, then that is discrimination. Okay, that is the primary difference between the three. 88. Ito. So, teachers daw, kaya matalino kasi both parents are teachers. O in-interview mo lahat ng lahat ng anak ng mga teachers, ba? Paano mo nasabi na that's completely true? So it's an unjustified belief. Yan yung keyword there, unjustified belief. So the answer is letter A, stereotype. Okay. You can answer bias then, pero in general kasi yung bias, it's not really, this term is not really used It's not used too much. Yung ginagamit talaga is this term, stereotype. Tsaka itong dalawa, prejudice and discrimination. Bias is not really used that much. Next, bullying. Prerequisite. So I already discussed this kanina, diba? So which one is a prerequisite? Prerequisite meaning requirement. Ano yung requirement para maklasify mo ang isang action as bullying? Okay, letter A is not. Kasi we already established na pwedeng economically stronger, pwedeng emotionally stronger, di ba? Letter B naman, the bully should be economically poorer. Not necessarily. Pwede din namang physically stronger lang talaga yung bully. Okay, letter C, you can consider it then. Bakit? Kasi, as I said, pag once mo lang ginawa, you can't really consider it as bullying. Bakit? Kasi, it has to repeat over time. Tsaka, yun nga, it has to be repeating. Okay? It has to be recurring. So the answer is D. Next, 90. Sum total of all educational experiences. Sum total. So lahat-lahat na. Okay, very good. Curriculum. By the way, is the lesson plan a curriculum? Is the lesson plan a curriculum? Specifically, let's say DLP. Daily lesson plan or detailed lesson plan. Is it a curriculum? Yes, very good. It is a curriculum, but it's a curriculum that is focused solely on one topic. Kasi diba for a lesson plan, isang topic lang naman. Sino bang nagla-lesson plan dito na tag 5 topics? Mamamatay ka dyan. So you'll die discussing that. Imagine 3 topics, tas isang lesson plan lang. How would you do that? So a lesson plan is a type of curriculum, but instead, kasi yung curriculum focused on one school year, diba? Isang school year talaga yung coverage ng curriculum. So one school year yan. Whereas a lesson plan is one topic, focused on only one topic. Pero it's still a part of the curriculum. Sorry for the penmanship. Nawala yung pen ko. I can't really write properly in the screen. Next, 91. Very easy. Bonus na to. Which of the following does not belong to the group? Okay, very good. So ito lahat, letter A, letter B, and letter C, they're all objectives, di ba? Objectives yan. Objectives. They're all part of objectives. Next. Formal operational. We're going to Piaget na. So it actually in all of the isms, yung kay Piaget yung pinaka-difficult for me. If you read his book, yung book talaga ni Piaget, yung siya mismo yung nagsulat, it's very difficult to read. The others are okay lang naman. It's readable. Piaget is hard. Okay, so it's thoroughly discussing abstract theories pag formal operational na. So let's see sa kang Kohlberg naman, yung moral development. Nasa conventional stage pa siya. So, ano yan? Tatlong stage yan, di ba? Pre-conventional, conventional, tsaka post-conventional. Tapos each stage has 2 sub-stages. Okay, Kohlberg. Okay, so conventional, nasa good boy or good girl. Ano pa yan? Nasa good girl or good boy stage pa yan. Meaning, the child does what he or she does because gusto niyang ma-praise. Gusto niyang ma-praise as good boy or good girl. Okay, that's the main motivation. Pag pre-conventional, ang main motivation naman is to avoid punishment and to seek reward. So yan yung sa pre-conventional. Yung post-conventional naman is may sariling isip na yung bata. So may sariling prinsipyo na siya. So he or she has a definite idea of what is right or what is wrong. 94. Very easy. So dysgraphia is, what is this? Dysgraphia is, okay, good. Dyslexia is reading. Okay, reading. Dyspraxia is moving, coordination. Moving. Dyscalculia is math. Calculus, math. Tapos, dysgraphia is writing. Writing. Sige. Next, what do we mean by the word report? This is a medyo tricky na question. So try to answer it. Medyo tricky yan. Boy. Okay. Any other answers? Dog. Enacting measures. A, establishing a relationship. Okay, actually, itong C tsaka D, these are all wrong. I mean, rapport meaning relationship yan eh. So when we talk about rapport, we're talking about a type of relationship. Okay? Now, letter A could be an answer. However, it's not specific. Establishing a relationship, pero pwede namang positive or negative relationship yan eh. So it could be a bad relationship, it could be a good relationship. Rapport has to be good. It has to be a positive relationship. So dapat the answer is letter B. It has to be good interpersonal connections. Interpersonal connections is just relationship naman eh. That's just synonymous. Okay, so that's what I said. That's why I said it's medyo tricky. So letter A could be an answer. However, it's not specific of what kind of relationship is being established. It could be a positive relationship. It could be a bad relationship. Rapport has to be positive. When you say rapport, it means good relationships or good interpersonal connections. So interpersonal connections, it's the same with the relationship. Synonyms lang yan. 96. Ito. Very easy. Okay, very good. So the answer is letter C. Why? Because when okay naman yan yung you allow for students to have a consultation time with you. So pag may personal issues sila or pag may issues sila with regards to the class, so pwede talaga yan. However, make sure na you put time kung kailan lang sila pwedeng pumunta sa iyo. Kasi baka if they visit you tapos may ginagawa ka or you're in your break time or you're having lunch, so either mababad trip ka lang, so baka mapagalitan mo nga yung bata, or maybe you're not able to actually entertain the child kasi nga may ginagawa ka. So make sure na may time ka na ilalagay. Okay, na alam mo na vacant ka between 2 to 3 p.m. for example. So sabihin mo na pwede kayong pumunta sa office ko or pwede kayong pumunta dun sa faculty room, but make sure na it's somewhere between 2 to 3 p.m. lang. Kasi after that, I have something to do or ganun. So make sure that when you invite students to talk, make sure nga, make sure that you have time. 97. Ano yung bonus na yan? Kasi almost all of the time, pag may all of the above, yan yung answer eh. Almost all of the time. So as I always say, as I always tell my reviewees, so pag may all of the above or may none of the above, tapos di mo talaga alam, like you don't really know what these are, assuming lang ha, example, you really don't know the other options, you're really not sure of what to answer, just answer all of the above or none of the above. Okay, pero if alam mo talaga na, for example, ito yung correct answer, tapos may all of the above, so syempre wag ka namang mag-answer ng all of the above. So doon ka sa yung answer talaga. And that's just an example, okay? Pero in general, especially if you're unsure, just answer all of the above. 98. Does not develop teamwork. Okay, very good. So keyword here is existentialist. Again, when you talk about existentialist, that is individual. Okay. Just yung penmanship. Individual. Sige. Wow, doctor yan. So the answer is D. Okay, existentialist is focused on the individual. So of course, it counters the term teamwork. It's individual eh. 99. Peer tutoring. Mahirap yan. Peer tutoring is hard. I've tried that many times, but it's hard. So why is it hard? Sige, kayo daw. Okay. Anyone? D. I mean, yeah, dog is okay then. Pero the best answer actually is boy. Bakit? Kasi peer tutoring. So may bata ka na we can use that theory, yung zone of proximal development. Sino nga yung author ng theory na yun? Was it Vygotsky? Si Vygotsky ba yung ZPD? Kay Vygotsky ba yun? I forgot. Anyway, so the problem with peer tutoring is you're pairing two different people, diba? Two different children or two different students. Tapos, of course, pag pinair mo yan, dapat yung isa is marunong, yung isa hindi marunong. Alam nga naman, puro hindi marunong yung ipe-pair mo. Anong iti-teach nila? Anong iti-tutor nila kung pareho silang dalawang bagsak? Diba? So yung isa is medyo may utak. Yung isa is medyo having a hard time with the topic. Now, the problem is when it comes to assessment, kasi if you divide their scores lang, para to incentivize them na turuan mo talaga yan kasi pag yung score niya, let's say ikaw naka 10 ka, tapos yung score niya 1 lang, o de 11 yung score niyang dalawa, tapos divide 2, o de tag 5 na lang kayo. So imbes 10 ka, 5 na lang score mo pag di mo yan tinuruan. So ganyan. It could also be na i-individualize mo lang yung score. So if yung bata is nakakuha ng 0 lang score niya, yung peer naman niya 10 din yung score niya, pero parang wala namang incentive, 'di ba? So anong incentive ng other student to teach his or her classmate? So it's a tricky question. That's why I would suggest na if you use peer tutoring, make sure na it's only for formative assessment, meaning it should be non-recorded. Okay? It should be non-recorded lang. Tapos, 100. We still have 50 items. Tapos, 30 minutes na lang. Oh well. Sige. What do you think is the answer? Very good. So the answer is true. So cooperation, not competition. Okay, that is actually the basis for the removal of the ranking system in the classrooms. Diba you notice? Before we had first, second, third, until yung top 10. Tapos ngayon it's just with honors, with high honors, with highest honors. So it removes competition. Kasi as long as they meet the necessary grade, pwede naman sila lahat, like the entire section could be with honors as long as they meet the requirement, diba? So if they cooperate, if they help each other, if they tutor each other, pwede talaga na silang lahat with honors. Whereas before, yung top 10 lang talaga, yung may honors. Yung top 10 lang. So it breeds competition. Whereas, for example, may dalawa kang very competitive, very intelligent, tsaka very competitive na learners. So before, magkukumpete talaga yan for the top 1 spot. Pag pareho naman ngayon, if pareho sila na naka-meet lang ng with highest honors, so 98 above yung average nila, o pwede silang parehong with highest honors, di ba? So they can actually cooperate with each other para makuha nila yung with highest honors if they want to, as long as they're not cheating. Sige. Active process. Again, make sure na almost all of these answers are correct, but make sure to choose the one that is the most general. So yung nakakapaloob, how do I say that? Sorry for my Tagalog. I'm not really used to speaking Tagalog. Sige, so just choose the most general answer na lang na parang na-subsume na yung other answers. Kasi A, B, C, and D are more or less correct. Okay, so the answer is actually D. Kasi contextualized, student-centered. Kasali na yan eh. A, B, and C are all student-centered approaches. Okay, ito yung magic word student-centered. And education in general, pag may student-centered na yan, that's usually the correct answer. Kasi education always has to be student-centered. So, etong A, B, and C, they're all good, but they are still under student-centered. Okay. Contextualization.
Nainitan ka?
Mike, please.
Dito ko po.
My baby na nagre-review. Hello there, little boy or little girl. Oh, what's the answer? Anyone?
C.
Contextualization eh. Contextualization. Okay. The keyword for contextualization is context. Context meaning experience. Okay? So when you say contextualization, the lesson has to be applicable to experience. Okay. So anyway, the answer is letter C. 103. Active learning, ha? Active learning. So automatically, wala na yung B. Kasi perennialism is not active learning eh. So what else?
A.
Okay, very good. A. Kasi realism is about observations lang din eh. So it's not really about active learning. So the answer is letter A. Constructivism and existentialism. Existentialism, syempre active yun kasi individual eh. So self-propelled yung learning. Tsaka constructivism because again, the meaning is derived from the experiences of the child. So personal experiences yung basehan. So di lang receptor yung bata, siya talaga yung gumagawa and nagpo-process ng information. Okay, 104. This is medyo tricky. Try to answer, but be careful. Better assess and direct their own learning. Oh, so ano tayo? Cancel tayo. So letter B is very wrong. I mean, the attendance, wala namang ano yan. Hindi naman yan part ng assessing their learning. Project making, not really. Assessment yan eh. So feedback or journal. Okay. Now, the keyword here is teaching practice. Journal writing is for students. That's a student practice or that's a practice done by the student. Teaching practice eh. Sinong nagbibigay ng feedback, 'di ba, ang teacher? So, feedback and journal writing are good. They are correct na in the sense na they assess and direct the learning of the student. However, teaching practice. So dapat ang nagko-conduct nito is ang teacher. Eh hindi naman ang teacher yung nag-journal writing. Gets? That's why the answer is feedback. So any violent reactions? 105. Oh, since we're talking about feedback, when is the ideal time? A lot of teachers fail in this regard. Na pag nagtitest tapos ano na lang, after the grading quarter na nagsasabi ng reviews. Anhin mo pa yan yung reviews?
Pakimute mo ng microphone. Wala man po.
So the answer is boy. As soon as you possibly can. Hindi naman pwede din na immediately talaga. Kasi sometimes may other issues din na kailangan pag-ulit. Pero as much as possible, do it as soon as you can. Okay? Para fresh pa yung feedback. Tsaka magagamit pa ng bata for the next activity. So pag nag-feedback ka, tapos na yung quarter, tapos na yung grade niya, para saan pa yung feedback mo? Eh tapos ka na nag-grading, di ba? So make sure na you feedback before the next activity, at least before the next activity, para magagamit pa niya yung na-feedback mo. 106. Ala? Sige. Cost. Ay, pero this is a repeated question naman din eh. Diba? So the cost for the K-12, the main cost is it being a prerequisite for the ASEAN integration? Sige. 7. Ito din. Bumalik na.
14, sir.
Yes, very good. So 14. C. Highest fiscal allocation. Fiscal meaning money. Okay. Fiscal means money. So what government agency needs to have, by order or by virtue of the Constitution, needs to have the highest budget. Okay? Ibig sabihin nito, if for example, ang agency nito, let's say the budget is 900 billion. So for next year, bababaan nila. Magiging 700 billion na lang. Tapos may isang agency na 750 billion. So that's unconstitutional. Kasi dapat yung agency na yon, dapat siya yung highest. So pag binabaan mo yon, bababaan mo yun din yung ibang mga other departments. Kasi siya dapat yung highest. So the answer is actually A, Department of Education. And this is actually you can look at the statistics on this kasi almost the DepEd employs almost 1 million personnel. Imagine, almost 1 million personnel. So more than half of the entire government is part of the Department of Education. Almost more than half of all the government personnel kasali sa DepEd. So ang laki talaga niyan. Because the budget is very big, it's 800 billion, but 95% of that budget goes to the MOOE, the expenses of the schools, tsaka of the salaries. So yung budget na yan, only 5% goes to classrooms, equipment, training, etc. 5% lang. The other 95% goes to salaries and the monthly operating expenses of the schools or the MOOE. 109, Magna Carta, that is 4670. That is the Magna Carta. Okay, so the Magna Carta is an old law. As you can see, 44,000 pa eh. So it's old na. I'm not sure what year, pero it's old. So dyan ang gagaling yung parang yan yung mother na document regarding all the benefits and privileges of teachers. Next, mother tongue. Ito yung MTB na personally wala talagang walang ambak. It's very I think the theory behind it is sound. Parang may sense naman yung theory, pero in practice it's very yung implementation is very bad. Kasi mother tongue, tapos yung tinuturo naman sa mga bata is yung mga words na di naman alam, di naman ginagamit nila on a daily basis. Yung mga pangmatatandang words talaga na even teachers don't know. So what's the point of having a mother tongue? Parang nagle-learn lang ng bagong language yung bata din.
B.
So the answer is boy. Yes. 2012 pa to, yung basis ng
Yes.
MTB.
Mother tongue. Kan kasi ito.
Next, komisyon sa wikang Filipino. Remember this, by the way. This is sa. Because usually sometimes sa board exams, they use komisyon ng wikang Filipino. Or they sometimes use komisyon sa wikang Filipino. So it should be sa and then F. Sa wikang Filipino. So the answer is A. 7104. The
Yes.
KWF, yes, the KWF is important because lahat ng languages sa Philippines under ng KWF. Okay, so sila yung nagsa-standardize ng languages sa Philippines. That's why they're very important for education. So di lang sila they're not a very flashy agency, pero they're very important. Especially in education. Kasi sa yung mga textbooks natin sa kanila, parang sila yung main consultant especially in Filipino and mother tongue. Sila yung primary consultants. Next. Ito na. Kay Piaget yan. Kay Jean Piaget. I wanna drink coffee. Sinong gustong kape? Sige, tapos na. So that's the pre-operational. Okay? So, pag ang bata, kasi meron yung sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete, tsaka formal operational. So, yung pre-operational is, hindi pa na ma-master ng bata yung notion of conservation. So, for example, ito na lang. So, yung cup ko, tapos this one. So, let's say, I pour water here. So, nasa top talaga. Tapos this one, I pour water here then. So, assuming lang na maliit lang to. So, So the child would always answer kung saan yung mas maraming mas maraming tubig. So it will always answer this kasi mas matangkad. Diba? It's taller. Even if this is actually wider. It's the same with money then na yung 20 pesos niya, gawin nating 2 pesos yan. Tapos papayag din naman yung bata kasi dalawa eh. Diba? So they have 2 points na instead of just 1 paper bill. So they don't have a notion of conservation pa. So that's the pre-operational stage. If they have na, then they go to the concrete operation now. So I already discussed this. So the answer is conservation. Pag may blocks ka daw na 5, yung 7 na dinidikit-dikit mo, tapos yung 5 na may gap. So pag sinabi mo kung sino saan yung mas maraming blocks, sasabihin nila yung 5 na may interval kasi mas mataas yung line eh. In fact, dapat 7. Kahit mas mataas yung line, mas compressed siya. So if the child can't understand that pa, so nasa conservation problem pa siya. 14. Anyone?
Egocentrism.
Okay. So the answer is actually egocentrism. Ibig lang sabihin yan, sa ganitong age kasi ng bata, there is a notion, there is a feeling na the entire world revolves around him or her. That's egocentrism. So naka-center lahat dapat sa kanya. So if he or she sees na sa family picture wala siya, parang nagtatantrums yung bata. Kasi ba't di siya kasali? Hindi ka pa pinapanganak dyan. So that's normal for that age. 15. Ano yan? Sabi daw ni mama, ba't ka nagpe-pray? Sabi ni mama eh. So what's that? Remember pre-conventional, that is reward and punishment. Pre-conventional is reward and punishment. Post-conventional is yung may sarili ka na talagang prinsipyo. Conventional is anything that falls in between. So this is not reward or punishment. Obviously, di siya pre-conventional. Di din siya post-conventional kasi wala namang sariling prinsipyo yung bata. So the only remaining answer is conventional. What pre-conventional? No, that's not pre-conventional. That should be conventional. Kasi wala namang specify na may reward or may punishment. Dapat pre-conventional, may reward or punishment. So, ayun lang. Yan lang yung tatandaan niyo, okay? Just remember that. Pre-conventional, reward or punishment. Tapos post-conventional, may sariling prinsipyo na yung bata. So anything that falls, na hindi kasali doon, automatically nandun sa conventional. 16. Retain new information. So memorization, kasi retain lang eh. Hindi naman sinabing understand, just retain. Very good. So the answer is mnemonics. So mnemonics, memory. Okay, so memory. Memory. Okay, so comparison. Anong diagram yan? Very easy. Comparison na diagram.
Fishbone.
Okay.
Ay,
Okay,
Venn.
walang fishbone ha?
Venn
Comparison.
diagram.
Okay. So that is Venn diagram. Very good. Venn diagram yung ganun, no? Parang stuff. Small circle, small circle. So in the parlance of test construction, what does TOS mean? So be specific. Yeah, so dapat may S. Okay, dapat may S. Table of specifications. Dapat may S. So usually we use the TOS for periodical exams. Okay? So pag periodical exam or quarterly exam, gumagamit na talaga ng table of specifications. Kasi may ano din yan, may budget yan, may subject matter budget. So parang may competencies here, this table here is competencies. Tapos dito yung number of days na natalakay yung competency, tapos number of items, ganun. So may parang table talaga yan. We do that for the periodical exam. 19. Assessment for learning. So tatlo yan. Assessment for learning, assessment of learning, tsaka assessment as learning, right? So assessment for learning is very easy. It's very easy to remember kasi for formative. So pag sinabi mong assessment for learning, assessment formative assessment yan. Pag sinabi mo namang assessment as learning, may as as. So meaning self. So that is self-learning. Again, assessment as learning, may as. So dapat self. As self. So yung natitira na lang is assessment of learning, meaning summative. So yan yung summative. I mean, parang yan lang yung ano, yan yung mnemonic ko. Okay, good boy. 20. Judgments. So pag may judgments, ano yan? Okay, very good. So the answer is evaluation. Remember, basta may judgment, always evaluation yan, ha? Don't be confused. Pag making judgments na, evaluation yan. Pag numbers lang, quantifications, that is measurement. Pag general, that is assessment. Next. Obtain a specific score lang. So you administer a particular set of questions.
Testing.
Okay. Type mo lang, ma'am. So testing tayo. So you're using a set of questions to obtain a specific score. Pag hindi siguro, specify na magbibigay ka ng questions, ganon, just to obtain a specific score, pwede mong i-answer na measurement. 22. What's that? What is essential for all learners to know, value, and be able to do at a desired level or competence? So sure tayo na DCPD. Pero wala namang CPD. Continuing Professional Development. Wala naman yan. Philippine Qualification Framework, wala din yan. So it's either A or D. So the answer is actually D. It's outcomes-based education. Outcomes-based. So yung primary source ng grading is yung outcomes. 23. Saan yung D na belongs sa SMART? We already answered that kanina. So the answer is letter C, reliable. That should be, ano yung dapat yung R? Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, tsaka time-bound. Next, 24. Contextualize problems or tests. So we go to the contextualize problems. So we go to performance assessment. Complex performance assessment. Okay, very good. So parang hanggang 130 lang siguro tayo kasi it's already 9:54 na.
Sir,
So you want
thank you.
Yeah, what is this? Assessment of learning. Ano yung of? That is? Okay, very good. That is summative. Summative. Yung for learning is very easy. For is formative. Formative. Tapos, yung as learning, may S. So, dapat self-learning. So, yung of is just summative. Next. Fixed standard, or what's the other term for that? Fixed standard. Ano may other term for that? Diba? Yeah, that is criterion referenced. So pag yung standard naman is dependent on other people, that is norm referenced. So pag dependent yung standard sa performance ng ibang bata, that's norm referenced. Which of the following is not considered to be a principle of assessment? Oh, Sanjan. Not a principle of assessment. Oh, my B. What else? Any other answers? My D. Oh, ano pa? Wala pa nagkiklaim sa A at saka C. Oh, may C na. Okay, very good. So the answer is C, not a principle eh. So, di pwede, hindi pwedeng uniform yung kind tsaka difficulty ng assessment. That's not it eh. Kasi we have what we call differentiated instruction, di ba? So yung mga bata na behind talaga, we give them the same topic, parang the same, we give them assessment of the same topic pero different level of difficulty. So yung mga extremes, kumbaga, so yung mga extremely intelligent, we don't give them the regular assessment. Same topic but advanced na version of it. Yeah. So not. Then 28. Dito na tayo sa validity tsaka reliability. Do I have ano here? Wait a second. Not an essential. Okay, usability. So yung validity, reliability, tsaka time bound, they're all very they're all essential. Usability is okay din naman. I mean, it's okay, pero pwedeng mapag-addressan yan eh. Yung validity, tsaka reliability at time bound, di talaga pwede yan. You have to have that. Sige, ito. Type of validity. Characteristic or quality. So when you're talking about qualitative assessment, ano yan? So descriptions of a construct or of a characteristic, that is actually construct. Okay. So just remember, if qualitative, yes, Princess. You're raising your hand.
Split answers, sir.
Ano?
Happy slip sir, sorry.
It's fine. So anyway, construct validity is for qualitative items or qualitative measurements. Yung content validity naman is kung gaano ka angkop yung test mo with regards to the content that you're discussing. So pag ang content mo is, let's say, you're teaching agriculture, okay? Di naman pwede na magpapadrawing ka lang ng garden dyan. O sige, draw me busog plot, gano'n. So parang it doesn't match with the content, diba? So if it's content validity, it has to be pag ang content mo is gardening, dapat pinapa-garden mo din yung bata. So that's the valid assessment. Predictive validity is if napipredict ng assessment mo yung future na assessment. Then for example, so you're discussing about addition. Tapos yung bata is good and maganda yung performance assessment mo with regards to addition. So dapat doon sa multiplication, kasi extension lang yan ang addition eh. Dapat kung may predictive validity yung assessment mo sa addition, maganda din yung performance niya sa multiplication. Kasi if tama yung predictive validity ng previous assessment mo, they're connected eh. Yung addition tsaka multiplication, they're connected. So kung tama yung predictive validity ng assessment mo for addition, pag nag-a-assess ka na sa multiplication, dapat yung high scorers mo doon sa addition, high scorers mo din sa multiplication kasi they're an extension lang. So dapat pwede siyang ma-predict. Last number. Okay, consistency is reliability. I have a topic here na Wait, I'll skip na lang ha since we only have, ano na lang eh. We only have 1 minute. This is the, okay, this one. I'll discuss this na lang kasi it's hard eh. So which of the following is not a possible scenario when we're talking about reliability and validity? So these are two concepts that are often interchanged. Okay, so ito na lang yung i-secure ko kasi we have 1 minute left. So ganito yan. Validity is, sige. So let's assume na may ano ka, may task ka na 1 to 10. Okay, let's just say 1 to 10. Oh, ilan yung passing ng 1 to 10? Di ba 7? 7 yung passing. Okay, validity is kung ilang scores, kung ilang bata yung nakakuha ng 7. Kasi the target is 7. Yan yung passing eh. So if majority of the scores got 7, valid yan. Get? Okay, if majority of the scores got 7, valid yan. Ang reliability naman is kung gaano kadikit yung mga scores ng mga bata. So, assuming na mahirap talaga yung quiz mo. Okay. Assuming na mahirap yung quiz mo. So, let's say yung mga bata is, ang mga scores lang talaga nila, 1, 2, tsaka 3. So, dikit yung mga scores. Okay? So, they're close together, yung mga scores nila, pero they don't hit the target. They're far from the target, pero magkadikit sila. Pero they're far from the target. Okay? So, ang hindi possible is good validity pero poor reliability. Bakit? Kasi pag nandun sila sa target, nasa 7 sila, automatically dikit sila. Kasi nasa 7 sila lahat eh, 'di ba? So, ganito yung illustration yan. Ito. So, as you can see, ito, scattered yung mga scores. So, malalayo yung mga scores. Assuming ito yung passing score, yung nasa gitna. Oh, dyan. So pag hindi siya reliable, ibig sabihin scattered yung mga scores, malalayo sila from each other. Tapos di din siya valid kasi malayo siya sa target eh. If it's reliable pero hindi siya valid, yung example ko kanina. So let's say 2 or 3 lang yung mga score ng bata, 1, 2 or 3 nandiyan lang yung mga scores ng mga bata. So magkadikit sila. So the scores are close together pero malayo sila sa target mo. So they are not valid kasi malayo sa target eh. Pero pag valid yan, nandun talaga sila lahat sa target. Eh, isa lang yung target mo. So, of course, isa lang din yung reliable din sila. Magkadikit din sila. Kasi isa lang yung target mo eh. Di naman pwede na dalawa yung target mo. Okay? So, pag magte-test ka, isa lang naman yung passing score eh. So, yung threshold for the passing score, isa lang naman yan eh. So, pag nakahit sila sa passing score, ibig sabihin automatically reliable yung assessment mo. Kasi all of the scores are passed. All of the students passed. So, magkadikit yung mga scores nila kasi passing scores sila lahat eh. Gets? So, di pwede. So, hindi pwede na may good validity ka pero poor na reliability. That doesn't make sense. Am I understood? So, anyway, that's all the time that we have for tonight. At least naka 1:33 tayo. It's good enough. Sige. So, si Nathan. Sir Nathan. Question?
What if, sirs, the question is which of the following is a possible scenario?
Which of the following is a possible scenario? So, letter A is okay then. Poor validity but good reliability. So, ito yan, yung letter A, di ba? Ganito yan. So, poor validity kasi di sila nakahit sa target. Pero, good reliability. Kasi magkadikit silang lahat eh. So it could also be letters, it could also be letter C, poor validity and poor reliability. So ito yun yung letter C. So di sila magkadikit, di din sila nakahit sa target. So they're not reliable and they're not valid. Tapos, it could also be good validity and good reliability. So that is this one, letter D. So magkadikit sila lahat and they all hit the target. So those are possible scenarios. Yung letter B is di talaga pwede kasi pag valid, automatically reliable din. Pero pag reliable, it doesn't mean automatically valid. Kasi ito yun. Reliable siya pero di naman siya valid. Pero
Thank you,
pag
sir.
valid siya. Okay. So does that answer the question, Sir Nathan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you then. Any other questions, everyone? About the concepts that we discussed?
No, sir. No, sir. Thank you.
Okay na. So I hope you enjoyed that. So almost na ba yung mga exams?
Lagi ang
Yeah, so ano, you can do it. Kaya na dyan na. Study lang dyan, okay? And answer all that you can sa online. Ang dami namang resources online so you can answer talaga. Try to download as much as you can. Try to answer as much as you can. Also practice shading ha. Always practice shading para di ka para anad na mo ba exam. Practice shading. Sige, so that's it for this final coaching. Sorry na we weren't able to get to 150. Pero parang repeating na lang, repeating topics naman lang until 150.
Sir, excuse, sir.
Alright, so again, thank you everyone.
thank
Sir,
you, sir.
excuse. Tomorrow po may
Thank you, sir.
So where is Sir Axel? Oh no, not Sir Axel, Sir Lex. Asan na si Sir ano?
Hey, sir. So, Sir Axel, sir.
Okay, hello.
Nilakaw mo
So,
si Axel, sir.
Oh, yeah, okay na ni.
Sige, sir. Sige, sir.
Sige, so I'll dismiss na ha.
Sige,
Sige,
sir.
everyone.
Sige, sir.
Do we take picture? Mag-picture data? Screenshot?
Thank you, sir, for
Yes, sir.
sharing your
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yes, you're welcome, Sir Reynante. You're
Thank you,
welcome.
sir. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Sir,
Thank
tomorrow
you.
meron pa po.
I'm not sure. I am not sure then. Okay, goodbye, everyone. Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you. I'm update ra na po.
Bye, everyone. Good night.
Good luck to us. God bless.